chicken, extra crispy tenders, or on a Chicken Little sandwich. Remember, it's the gold on the inside that counts. Try some today at KFC. It's finger-licking gold.
At participating KFCs for a limited time only. Prices may vary.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. It's nicknamed the mother of all bombs, now used in combat for the very first time. Fox's John Decker's at the White House.
The U.S. military confirming that it dropped the most powerful non-nuclear bomb in its arsenal on a cave and tunnel complex in eastern Afghanistan that it said was used by ISIS fighters. The president praised the successful deployment of the almost 11-ton bomb that up until today had never been used in combat.
We have the greatest military in the world, and they've done a job as usual. So we have given them total authorization.
The Pentagon said U.S. commanders took all precautions necessary to prevent civilian casualties and collateral damage as a result of the operation. The airstrike was in the same area where an Army Green Beret was killed on Saturday. Chris?
John, NASA says it believes giant bodies of water on other planets' moons could be very similar to oceans here on Earth.
Teams of researchers at NASA working with two different long-range space probes now believe that Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Enceladus are concealing vast oceans underneath sheaths of ice, and that spacecraft have witnessed spray-like eruptions of water vapor. Jim Green is NASA's planetary science chief.
We call these bodies and many others that are like them ocean worlds. They are protected by an ice shell, much like our atmosphere protects us.
Warm water oceans would be ideal for bacteria or other small life to form, but no evidence has been found. Yet the science teams are all certain the ingredients are present. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Tesla announces it'll unveil new electric cargo trucks in September, with a pickup truck coming next year or the year after. Staff at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida rushed to immediately fix health violations spotted in late January, according to a state inspector's spokesman. Food was being stored in too warm refrigerators. For example, water from a hand-washing sink was too cold. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $70 rebate by mail on 4 select tires, plus another $70 rebate when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Down days in a row on Wall Street, the Dow finishing 138 points lower today. A suicide prevention net is being built on the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco.
Last year, bridge monitors prevented over 200 people from committing suicide, but 39 people still managed to jump. Many more have in previous years. Now, Golden Gate Bridge officials say they have federal and state money to build a steel net. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi praised former Senator Barbara Boxer for getting the federal funding for it through a transportation bill.
Together, we are honoring a deep moral responsibility to save lives wherever and whenever we can.
Kimberly Renee Gamboa has pushed for the net after her 18-year-old son committed suicide in 2013.
Kyle is what led us to the journey to the Golden Gate Bridge to ask why and how suicide could happen here, and how to prevent future suicides at the Golden Gate Bridge.
When it's completed, the net will start 20 feet beneath the sidewalk and jut out about 20 feet as well.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. That net's expected to take about 4 years to finish. A cable company is hiring off-duty cops in Cleveland for security.
Spectrum is hiring off-duty officers in Cleveland now to accompany cable workers after other companies reported their workers were getting robbed. Apparently, criminals are targeting marked cable trucks and holding employees at gunpoint. This has happened at least 5 times. And in one case, Spectrum says one of its own workers was shot 4 times. That 32-year-old employee is still in the hospital now and expected to survive. But Spectrum doesn't want this to happen again. So we're told police officers will ride in uniform and stand near Spectrum workers until further notice. Monica Ricks, Fox News.
The annual Eurovision Song Contest will not be broadcast in Russia, with this year's Russian contestant banned from traveling to Ukraine to be on the show. The contest has been going on since 1956. It's one of the most watched events on TV worldwide. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Here's
Do not touch this mic.
You got it in the perfect spot, finally?
Harry, Daniel, who else is here? Do not touch this mic. It's a daily battle, but I think I'm fine. I might have neck pain.
You got like this hunch thing.
I know.
Why are you hunched?
I'm going to, hold on a second.
You're fine. If you stand up straight, like sit, or you can do that.
Yeah, I just lowered. Now I'm like a little 4-year-old doing the show.
I was going to say, this mic's powerful enough. You don't have to get right into it.
I know. Is that better?
No.
Okay.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Thunderstorms possible tonight starting at 9, a low of 54. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, high 77, low of 62. Mostly clear on Saturday, though. You can get your painting done, Lon. High 81, low of 61. Right now, warm, 79 in Champaign-Urbana.
Oh, it feels so good. Out at the plate, Kyle Schwarber. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Werner. I think they called him safe, actually. That's how I'm starting the show. Illinois got a new assistant. Illinois got a new assistant that maybe we should be excited about.
The staff is set.
Okay.
We can chat about that. The Cardinals get off the schneid.
Wow, Mike Leake.
The Cubs get their rings. They got some day baseball. The Bulls are in the playoffs.
What?
The Blackhawks start the playoffs. We go away for a day, and look at all this stuff we get to talk about
Isn't
today.
it amazing? I had a Life of an Insurance Agent day yesterday. I went and visited a couple of clients. Rode a couple bars over in Danville, so I went over there, met with them, met with an agent friend of mine. We had one drink. We just visited about life.
Remember the good old days of you just having an agency?
Like I looked down and it was like 3:40, and I'm like, this is what life is all about. So my buddy starts laughing. He goes, why do you do that show? I'm like, because I love this show. I said, I come on here and I complain about it all the time, and Jeremy hears me complain about it.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
But I miss it. I miss it when we don't do a day, and it's like that because there's so much to talk about, and it's like I don't know. I mean, I could talk about it with dudes in a bar, but it's different. You and I get to talk about it here.
So I was watching Kid yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you got Kid duty all day.
I had Torrin all day, and whenever I have Torrin all day, means there's a bunch of news.
Something's going to happen.
So Lovey updates the injuries with Mikey Dudek and Chase Crouch. I hear that teleconference, and Torrin's fidgeting the entire time. And then the Chin Coleman stuff happens. And I told you, I thought that was happening.
Isn't it amazing how busy you are with your site? I mean, this show isn't about your site, but it is amazing how busy Illinois sports has kept us. Just you and I, Illinois fans in general. There is constantly news and has been that way for so long.
My neighbor's a big Illini fan. He hasn't seen me in a while, and he goes, so I was home during the day, and I had Torrin outside, just kind of walking around, and he finally got me and goes, been waiting to talk to you for a while.
The old neighbor coming over for a 2-hour chat.
I got to get the lowdown of what's going on over there.
And then when I talk to people, it's, hey, what is Jeremy hearing about that? I'm like, I don't know. He doesn't ever tell me anything. I'm hearing? Yeah, right. I'm like, what? Do you don't care what I think? And they're like, no, we know you don't care.
But I do want to start the show.
Yes.
On your Blues.
Wow.
Got a big win last night. Holy Jake Allen.
Holy jumping. The kid's unbelievable, right? The year that he's had and the transformation he's made under Martin Brodeur has been incredible. Incredible that this guy, they gave him like 3 days off in the middle of the season because he was so bad. Yep. He went through a stretch that he was like dead last in goals against, in save percentage, everything. They make the coaching change with Hitchcock. They make the goalie change with regards to coaching, and they go to a guy like Martin Brodeur. Why wasn't he that guy anyway, is what I'm asking. But it's
many better experts at goalie.
No! You'd think that a former goalie would be the guy to go to, right? But it is amazing. The Blues were outplayed in every facet of that game yesterday or last night against the Wild, and Jake Allen kept him in the game, and they ended up winning the game.
Yeah, and Harry had a take.
Oh, a hot take?
Harry Black is a huge hockey fan.
Yes, he is.
And he's kind of going to sub for me, I think.
Oh.
I won't have to watch as much hockey because Harry can carry me.
Fair enough.
But I do plan on watching the Blackhawks and stuff tonight. I was just dead tired.
Oh, no, right. Oh, well, I'm sure.
But Harry had a take on the Blues. What did you think last night, Harry?
I said when I came in here, that was the first time I've watched a playoff hockey game where I thought afterwards the team that won just showed me that they have no chance of winning this series.
No, you're exactly right.
I mean,
well, I don't even know about that. I think they have a shot in the series, but
maybe
they have no
series,
chance of winning a Stanley Cup.
The thing is though, like you said, they are so outmatched by the Wild. The Wild have so much more talent than the Blues have. The Blues kind of are on the decline as to where they were a couple of years ago. But yeah, Jake Allen.
It's unbelievable.
You can't trust your goaltender, though, even if he's going to be performing like this, to have 50 saves a game.
No, and the Blues know that, and afterwards they said that. Now keep in mind, they're without Robbie Fabry, and that's a key to that, and they're without Stasny. And now, if they get those, Fabry's out, but if they get Stasny back by round 2, he would add a lot of offense to that, where you're playing guys like Barbashev and guys that wouldn't normally play. But Sobotka, who just joined the team, was unbelievable yesterday. No, they're definitely, you lost, the Blues were this style with Hitchcock, where they needed to get guys in front of the net, and what happens? You lose Backus, you lose Brouwer. And now you come back this year hoping that you've got enough firepower when really Vladdy's the only guy you got. Yeah, and teams can sit on him in the playoffs, and they do.
The thing is when you have, and this is actually what we saw yesterday with the Wild on the other end, you see, they always say, and part of the reason why the Capitals have problems in the playoffs is you say, the one thing that can stop a red-hot offense is a goaltender.
It's a goaltender.
A goaltender who just doesn't let anything by. You have a chance as long as you have a great goaltender. Can Jake Allen pull off a Cam Ward 06 kind of playoff run
15 more times?
Right.
Yeah. It's happened before.
Jonathan
Quick only comes to be in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's exactly right. He led an 8th-seeded team to a Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
So, it can happen, but I can see the Blues winning this series, but I don't see them taking down like the Hawks.
And we got the Blackhawks starting tonight. Scott Powers, the Athletic, will join us later this hour to preview that series. And for us that get in on this in the playoffs, I don't watch hockey until the playoffs.
I hardly watched it this year.
Right.
I'm gonna come out and say it. I hardly watched hockey.
So I usually don't watch the Hawks until the playoffs because of everything else going on, especially with Illinois stuff here. I want to ask him, is another great Blackhawks team. How is it different than the previous team?
That's a great call.
Just kind of get us up to speed with this Blackhawks team. So we'll do that with Scott Powers.
Awesome.
At 4:05, we'll talk with Mr. Liddyville. Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach. We'll ask him what Liddyville is because we're not with it, Lon.
Oh, is that?
He does hashtag Liddyville all the time.
Oh, I was going to say, am I missing something?
Yes.
But if you're missing it, then I'm in good shape then.
Something to do with recruiting. I don't know, but he does hashtag Liddyville all the time. So we'll talk with Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach, as Illinois football, they'll prepare to hit the road this weekend for recruiting for about a month and a half. It's craziness as they try to get their 2018 class. We'll talk to him about the 2017 class and his running backs.
They have one guy signed. Is that right?
Committed.
Or I'm sorry, committed.
They can't sign until February.
I always get those confused. They have one guy committed. That's it out of this class.
At this point last year, they didn't have a commit.
So what date can I start to look at you and say, I'm starting to panic? That's exactly right.
When do I freak out?
I'm going to hold off on April 13th.
Hasn't been a great start.
Okay.
Hasn't been a great start, but there are 10 months left before signing day.
I'm not going to panic.
So let's wait on the panic meter.
Let's hope Liddyville gets it done.
And Dan Hartlib will give us crap, and he will gloat about his Cincinnati Reds, who lead the NL Central.
Why are we having him on?
Because we owe it to him.
And the reason
kicked him off for Jeremiah Tillman news.
We kicked him off for Tillman news. We kicked him off the 1 year for Rayvonte Rice.
He never called in.
So Hartlib now is the one Illini coach that we have now dissed twice, and we are going to hear this. This might be a 15-minute interview, and 13 of it might be Dan Hartlib just getting his due on us, and that's fine. That's fine.
Illinois basketball has finalized its coaching staff. I mentioned this name about a week or two ago on the show, and I thought he would be the guy. And it's Ron Chin Coleman. His nickname is Chin, but people call him Chin Coleman.
Okay.
He's the third assistant. Illinois announced it yesterday. So this staff is complete. You have Brad Underwood, your head coach, Orlando Antigua, Jamal Walker, and Chin Coleman. Chin spent the last 3 years as UIC assistant under Steve McLean, or last couple years under Steve McLean.
Okay.
Also spent 3 years at Bradley as an assistant, but is a Chicago guy.
Okay.
He spent 6 years as the head coach of the MAC Irvin Fire, which is a Chicago-based powerhouse.
Got it.
Had been a powerhouse, especially when he coached it on the AAU circuit. So they're a very talented program there. Like Paris Parham, he is very in tune with the Chicago area.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is that Chin probably would have taken this job a week and a half ago. And Illinois was going after some other guys.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Chuck Martin was the name I mentioned the other day, the former Indiana assistant. Heard he's visited with South Carolina.
Okay.
It's obviously not going to get done with Illinois.
Right.
So they moved on to their next target, and that's Chin, who's got the Chicago connections.
I want you, real quick, because a lot of times, and I think you and I are fair, not only do we talk positive about Illinois, we also bring up the negative. We try to run the gamut. We try to be fair to everyone. I want you to be positive as you can be right now about these three assistants and tell Illinois fans on each assistant, Walker, Antigua, and Coleman, tell us what we want to hear as an Illini fan to get us excited about each one of these.
This is an upgraded staff.
Okay.
I mean, Jamal Walker isn't an upgrade over Jamal Walker, but he does have 5 years of experience here and knows the lay of the land at Illinois a little bit better, so maybe he is a little bit of an improvement over himself from 5 years ago.
I agree.
Orlando Antigua was a huge improvement over Dustin Ford. Okay. I like Dustin personally.
Yeah.
But recruiting-wise, he didn't have much prowess. And obviously the X's and O's wasn't happening either on this staff, and he was the right-hand man for John Gross. Orlando Antigua is a proven talent getter.
Got it.
He is the big splash of this one. If people across the country were like, ooh, that's an interesting hire.
Okay.
It's Orlando Antigua. Chin Coleman, I mean, was a mid-major coach.
Okay.
But I do think that Chicago connection is interesting. Do you want me to get to the negative?
Yeah.
But Brad Underwood could be a massive improvement over
Yes.
time.
Okay, wait, before you get to negative.
Yeah.
And before you get to negative. So what we like about this is that all three of these guys, Walker, Antigua, and Coleman, all three of these guys are proven recruiters, right?
They can recruit.
They
have recruiting ties and have shown that they can get players. Chin Coleman got Josh Cunningham to Bradley, despite him having some Power 5 offers.
Fair enough.
He got Dikembe Dixon to UIC, who was the Horizon Freshman Player of the Year, was a pretty good player at UIC.
Okay.
Over Power 5 schools.
Wow.
So he's a proven talent getter at that level. Right?
Yeah.
Jamal Walker showing he can get LaRon Black, Jalen Coleman lands. This Jeremiah Tillman thing was a really bad break, but he didn't get the kids out of the Metro East area yet.
Right.
Mark Smith is still out there.
Smith's out there. Liddell coming
E.J.
up.
Liddell in 2019 is still out there. I think Jamal is still an asset.
Fair enough.
He's very well liked, but there's some questions there.
Yeah.
Orlando Antigua got Derrick Rose.
Ooh.
Right,
okay,
he got superstars at Kentucky.
He's not afraid to wade into the deep end of the pool. That's basically what you're saying. So that's good. Now, I'll let you then rebuttal with negative. What negative does it carry with regards to these three?
Chin Coleman is a mid-major coach. I mean, he wasn't high on a lot of people's lists. I do think he can be a fit, and I think he's a Chicago guy, but so is Paris Parham.
Yes.
And Parham got Kendrick Nunn, got DJ Williams. The one he missed on big, I mean, we could talk about Cliff and Charlie Moore.
Right.
Those were the two he missed on. I know Chin Coleman is very close with Nick Irvin.
Okay.
Will that matter?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Will that matter in the end?
Because Mac Irvin hasn't been exactly – they're not the Simeon. I know that's too different. That's an AAU and a high school. But whereas Simeon, it seems
Nick Irvin's the head coach of Morgan Park, too.
Oh, that's true.
Who has Ayo Dosunmu.
So there hasn't been a lot of positive with regards to the Irvin name and Illinois. There has not been a lot of guys come to Illinois from that program.
And even if those guys, I think we sometimes overrate what these coaches influence.
I'm sure we do.
It's just a lot of times they say bad things about Illinois.
Okay.
Right? And it's because they're losing.
Yeah.
But in the end, does Nick Irvin telling Ayo Dosunmu, hey, you should go to Illinois, does that matter?
Right. I see what you're saying.
When you got the right people around you, so I don't know.
I'm sure it's another voice that they respect.
It's showing that Underwood is admitting Chicago matters, and it does matter.
Yep.
A lot of people want to give the middle finger to Chicago, and I get it, and it's like, hey, there's not a lot of talent out there in the next couple of years. We can just do it without them. At some point, there's going to be elite talent there that you need to be in on.
To me, this is funny. I thought of this the other day, Jeremy. Today, or to me right now, when there isn't a lot of talent in Chicago, right now is when you make hay. Right now is when you look good. When you're up there and you're all around those schools, and those schools right now are sitting there saying, you know what, we don't really have a guy that Illinois could use right now, but these guys are up here recruiting us. Yeah. We're going to remember this.
There's probably two guys right now that are for sure, and that's Dosunmu, Ayo Dosunmu, 5-star prospect out of Morgan Park, point guard, top recruiting target. And Chin Coleman was recruiting him for UIC.
Okay.
Now he's got a familiarity with that family as he recruits for Illinois. So
huge.
That's a big first step for him. And then maybe Taylor Horton Tucker.
Okay.
He's got a few offers. He's a wing out of Chicago Simeon. Robert Smith obviously has been very friendly with Illinois, and Simeon's supplied Illinois with some players, but those are really the only two guys right now.
If I asked you the question, does it surprise you? Because no, it wouldn't surprise you. Were you thinking that Brad Underwood would hire someone with Chicago connections, or were you thinking that Underwood may, not that he's avoiding Chicago, but that he may go in a different direction and hire somebody that not necessarily can be pegged to Chicago?
Yeah, this Chicago guy or bust. Paris was right. He recruited Chicago and ended up recruiting Milwaukee a little bit. Right? That was what he did. I think all those assistants got to be up in Chicago at some point. They should all be seen up there. And Chuck Martin had recruited Chicago a little bit. Orlando Antigua's recruited Chicago a little bit. I think those guys could have done fine up there. We'll see. But I think this staff's got to get up there. Obviously Joe Hendrickson came on and said he hadn't reached out to the coaches, and that was causing a little bit of a stir up there. That's another example of, I get it. Underwood probably should have had someone around him telling him, hey, you should probably reach out to these people.
Exactly.
He didn't.
Okay.
Didn't have anyone to tell him this is probably a good idea to reach out to these people while he had this busy schedule.
No doubt.
But that also shows that there was a hubbub about that of why people don't want to deal with it.
Okay, that's fair.
Why they don't want to deal with recruiting Chicago.
I see both sides of that in a heartbeat.
And I will tell you, Antigua is a really interesting hire.
Okay.
And we've discussed this on the show before. Illini fans loathe John Calipari.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Antigua recruited for John Calipari. And people perceive how he does things.
Yep.
Right?
I know where you're going.
Antigua was a big part of that.
Okay.
That's your perception.
Yep.
I don't think John Calipari is to cheat anymore.
I don't either.
If he's obviously done it in the past.
It's kind of like Krzyzewski with regards to who's never been caught.
You just go, hey, you want to be a first-round pick? Come play for me.
Right. It's simple now for him. He's earned it.
And I do think it's interesting. Josh Whitman has continually said integrity is of the most importance.
Yes.
And this is a guy who's had academic alleged fraud in his program when he was a head coach. The bottom line, though, is he can recruit.
Okay.
You need good talent to win.
Yes.
He's a talent getter.
I like it.
And Josh Whitman said, #we will win.
He wants to win.
That's a bold statement.
It is. It totally is.
And you need guys who can get talent. I just think it's interesting that they're hiring someone with,
I agree,
no matter the perceived baggage and perceived risk. So I find that I'm interested to hear from Underwood and Whitman and Antigua about his past and about that stuff. But it's obvious that he can get talent. And that's why he's here, despite some baggage there.
And we've talked with Joe Hendrickson and others that have said, you know what, the assistants matter. That's huge. But the number one guy, and that's Brad Underwood, has to make an appearance too. He has to be a known commodity in Chicago.
None of these assistants have ever worked for Brad Underwood.
Interesting.
And that's why I think
two different staffs from John Gross that had the same guys. He brought the same guys with him.
Except Paris was.
No, except Paris. That's true. And then now you've got a guy like Brad Underwood, or you've got Brad Underwood, who brings in three completely different assistants with regards to any knowledge of him or the way he coaches.
But that's why I think the assistant to the head coach, which is a support role, Stephen Gentry, is a huge hire.
Okay.
The assistant to the head coach cannot recruit off campus. He can't coach on the floor. But it is a vital role because it's the right-hand man of X's and O's.
Got it.
Basically is what it is. It's a scheme-heavy, strategy-based. Ryan Peden did this job, turned it into Butler assistant. Brandon Miller went on to become the Butler head coach before he had his personal issues. So he was a good hire. Darren Hurts now is at Dayton under Anthony Grant. But these are guys who are really involved in game planning, video, all those things. Stephen Gentry knows the system for Underwood. He was an assistant for Underwood at Stephen F. Austin.
Sweet.
And then he was a support staffer, basically the same role as assistant to the head coach at Oklahoma State. So I think that's a huge hire to have somebody you trust with, breaking down games, scouting reports, all those things, your system, and maybe a guy who can challenge you.
Right.
I think that's very important to have a guy you trust that he can challenge you and say, I don't know if that's the right thing.
I like it.
I think Gentry, after working for Underwood for a while, could do that.
Well, and you like the fact that not only the challenge aspect, you like the fact that Underwood trusts this guy to know that when he's watching a game and he's breaking down film of a game, that he's kind of seeing the same thing Brad Underwood is, and they're on the same page. And all you needed to tell me was that he was with him at Stephen F. Austin, and he was with him last year at Oklahoma State, because those offenses, they absolutely succeeded in those 4 years. A Brad Underwood offense succeeded, and if Gentry has a lot to do with that, I'm all for it.
Sean texted in, do you think the staff would have wanted Tillman and Goodwin, or rather have a Mark Smith for the 2017 recruiting class? Yes.
Yes to all the above.
All of them?
Absolutely.
Mark Smith's still out there. Yep. And Michigan State has Miles Bridges returning.
Oh,
I think that helps Illinois sell. Kentucky could get him on campus for a visit, but they just took a commit. So I think they got a lot of selling to do to show him he's got a role there.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting over the next week or so.
What a coup for Tom Izzo to get him back.
Miles Bridges, yeah.
And I want to sit here and tell you that I'm happy for the kid, for Miles Bridges, but I really don't care. He's going to make a lot of money one day, so that's good for him. I'm just happy selfishly for Illinois and the fact that he may be clogging a spot that Mark Smith would want.
Yeah, Michigan State gets the best player on their team back for a sophomore year, and Illinois fans are celebrating.
Yeah, come beat us by 20, Miles Bridges. We don't care. We're going to get Mark Smith. Hopefully. Hopefully that'll be the case. I can't wait for that day. We need a positive. And I want to sit right here and stare right at you and say, that's awesome that Mark Smith is an Illini. That's what I want to do. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's what me, Mr. Positivity, is going to hope for. If Jake Allen can make 51 saves, I think Mark Smith can come to Illinois and play.
You can do it.
You can do it.
If you want to weigh in, you can call the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line at 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at Jay Warner Scout.
At Lonte, ESPN. See you.
You can download the WSJK app. You can watch us on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show. Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Our interns, you heard from Harry Black. We got Daniel King and Jack Long as well. Scott Powers, The Athletic, coming up at 3:30. Thad Ward, 4:05. And Dan Hartlib, 5:25.
Sweet. I'm going to spend the next 4 minutes telling Harry Black how I met Barry Melrose, yet did not hook him for the Tay and J Show. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
The Cleveland Browns have not made up their minds about who to select with the first overall pick in the NFL draft. The Browns' decision appears to be between defensive end Myles Garrett and quarterback Mitchell Trubisky.
Myles Garrett's going to be the number one pick.
I don't think so.
I don't buy in. The misinformation that gets out there is at an all-time high. The dude's going number one. Why would Cleveland? Why not play all the cards out? Why not see what kind of a phone call you're going to get? Why commit to who you're going to take number one? Who knows if you want to trade out of that spot? Who knows if you say, yeah, I got a couple of people I'm interested in, maybe you'll get a phone call that's worth dropping down a little bit. What are they all about with their new system? I think it's blah, blah, blah. I think at the end of it all, Myles Garrett will be a Cleveland Brown number one.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
Next paint project, why settle for a new coat of paint? Try a new coat of armor. Glidden Diamond Paint and Primer at the Home Depot, starting at only $23.98 a gallon. When put to the test, Glidden Diamond stood up to 2,500 scrubs. That's a lot of soccer balls, muddy pets, and fingerprints. And that's one tough coat. We're pouring more into paint with unbeatable prices on scrubbable Glidden Diamond Paint and Primer from only $23.98 a gallon at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
This is Dean's yard, and Dean's a pretty observant guy, but sneaky crabgrass lurks undetected until it rears its hideous head this summer. However, Dean's not only observant, he's smart. He uses Scott's Turf Builder Holt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food in early spring. It protects against crabgrass all season long, while feeding the lawn for a fast green up, guaranteed. So this spring, Dean can stop crabgrass dead in its crab tracks. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Holt's today.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with its signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. How about a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, your next get-together, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or on North Cunningham in Urbana.
Need new tires? How would you like to save $200 on a set of 4 select Goodyear tires? Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get up to $200 in savings when you purchase a set of 4 Goodyear tires and use the CarX Drive Card credit card. Your Champaign CarX man has the right tires for your vehicle at any of his 3 convenient locations. And now up to $200 off. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
See store for details.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
3:31. I'm Jeremy Warner with your 3:30 Sports Update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Save up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through the end of the month. Just email mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Brad Underwood's first Illinois coaching staff is finalized. The UIC assistant Ronald Chin Coleman has joined Orlando Antigua and Jamal Walker on the assistant coaching staff. Coleman spent the last 3 years at UIC, and before that was an assistant at Bradley. He also was the head coach of the Chicago AAU powerhouse Mac Irvin Fire from 2005 to 2011. Underwood also has brought Stephen Gentry on as assistant to the head coach. Gentry served a similar support staff role last year at Oklahoma State and was an assistant coach for Underwood at Stephen F. Austin. Lovie Smith had some key injury updates yesterday, including wide receiver Mike Dudek.
Mike is totally cleared. He won't go through any contact work until training camp, but he's running, doing everything right now. Don't see any signs of anything, wrong with, the ACL surgery that he had. See that same quickness that I've heard about but haven't been able to see yet. So both guys are right where they need to be.
Lovie also said Chase Crouch on schedule in his recovery from shoulder surgery. He said that Crouch is the team's starting quarterback and unquestioned leader. Jake Allen stood on his head last night, 51 saves as the Blues beat the Wild 2-1 in overtime in Game 1 of that series. Tonight, the top-seeded Blackhawks dropped the puck on their postseason against the Predators at 7 o'clock. Afternoon baseball, the Cubs lead the Dodgers 4-0. The Dodgers have left a lot of people on base. Addison Russell went to Laveland, and Rizzo hit his first homer of the season as well.
Stinking Cubs.
They're good.
I might as well just get it out of my head that I'm going to worry about the Cubs. They're just going to win a lot. And they won a lot last year.
They're better than your team. They're better than my team. They're better than basically everybody's team. Except for Cubs fans.
That's exactly right. So we're just going to watch them win, and I'll deal with it. It is the Tay and J Show. Latte, Jeremy Warner. You mentioned it. Jake Allen was spectacular last night. The Blues outplayed, but they get a win. 2-1 over the Minnesota Wild to take a 1-0 advantage in that series. They basically get home ice back. Alex Pietrangelo, huge. Colton Parayko, huge. And then Joel Edmondson with the winner after Vladdy was so strong on the puck. That was a fun game. It was just one of those games. And you and I have talked about it every year, and our next guest, Scott Powers, can tell you even more as he attends these games. It's one of those games where there's no reason the Blues need to be winning this game, but they are, and then 20 seconds left in regulation, boom.
Yep.
Score, and I'm thinking as a Blues fan, I'm like, uh-oh. How are the Blues going to win this now? Somehow they get it done. They go up 1-0 in the series. Yeah, that's what it is. And it was a great play by Vladdy Tarasenko.
Let's go to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Don't forget the pizza of the month, Caprice Pizza. He's Scott Powers, The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter @ByScottPowers. How you doing, Scott?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good, buddy.
I need you, since I'm not a hockey guy. I don't invest a lot of time during the regular season, right. Scott. I know there's a lot of people like me. They're just playoff hockey people. Update us. How is this Blackhawks team different than previous Chicago teams?
Good question.
Well, I think every year it's changed a lot in the last 7-8 years, even where the Caps made them have to do different things, and each time they've won the cup, they've had to kind of reload, and they've done it with different variations of their core, and you certainly get Kane and Taves and Keith and Seabrook and Crawford now here, but again, after 15, they kind of had to find a new way to work the way around the salary cap, and they haven't gone up a whole lot, and since then they've had to pay Kane and Taves and find other ways to fit under the cap, and they went out and got Artemi Panarin, traded Saad, traded Sharp, brought in Nisimov, and this year they did it relying on a lot of younger guys to kind of step in and fill some of those holes, and hoping some guys are not necessarily young guys, the guys that are been around a bit and shown some potential, stepping up. A guy like Richard Panik, last year was in the AHL, at times a healthy scratch for the Blackhawks. He comes in and scores 20 goals. The young kids like Nick Schmaltz has stepped up, and then you've had some guys who've had a little bit of a resurrection, like Marian Hossa, who the last couple of years wasn't the Marian Hossa of old, and
right.
This year he scores 25 goals or whatever it was, and brought it back. So you still have a lot of the usual names. That the reason they've been successful and they've won 3 cups, but then you also have some newcomers like Nick Schmaltz and Ryan Hartman, guys like that who've kind of plugged in some of those holes, and they've had pretty good success with them this year. Being at top of the Western Conference and certainly putting themselves in a good position with having home ice throughout the Western Conference to make another run at it.
Scott, it's funny you mentioned that core group, and it's those same names, and it's almost like the guy that plays a lot as a freshman in the Big Ten, and by the time he's a senior, you're like, how many years has he been here? It's those guys, and I think the Blackhawks they're due some credit. That years ago they realized, who your core group was, and they've done a great job to keep that. I know with the cap they've had to do different things, and it's hurt them. It's affected them a little bit, but they have to be given a lot of credit, that organization, for being able to keep that core together this long.
Yeah, and some of it, I guess they've certainly succeeded now, and the question is whether they succeed in the future.
Sure.
Because you have guys that are on the books for a long time. Cannon Taves at 28, you still see them having a number of years of that, that level of success. But it's Seabrook and Duncan Keith, and Marian Hossa still has a few years left on his deal, and he's 38. I guess it's those deals down the line. It'll see how they affect the Blackhawks and what they're able to do. And they have a lot of newcomers coming in. They had some come in this year and be successful. But down the line, they need those young, youthful players and smaller contracts to be successful because, Brent Seabrook, he's shown a bit of a decline, and they just started an 8-year deal with him. So some of those contracts, people are kind of skeptical about what the Blackhawks are going to look down the line, and they're going to have to rely more and more on these entry-level type of deals. Because even when these young guys get good, after that first contract, they want more money, and then they head into, becoming unrestricted free agents, and then they want even more money. So
sure.
There's going to be some change over there continually because the cap's only gone up small bits here in the last few years, and it's not estimated to go up a whole lot more. And when your 2 top players, Kane and Taves, are accounting for $22 million of a $73 million cap, it's already there's a large portion of it taken off. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays. But so far, Stan Bowman's done a pretty solid job of being able to find those players and plug in those holes and make it work and keep the guys that they want. They've rewarded loyalty in certain guys, and some of them they've had to move on from. I think Patrick Sharp was a difficult one for them to move on to. Having won 3 cups, and Brandon Saad and Andrew Shaw, guys like that who you expect to maybe be in the core for a long time, but they've had to make a couple of tough, difficult decisions there.
Well, what do you think of this team's cup chances compared to some of the other recent teams, Scott?
I don't think this is as deep a team as 10 or 13. 15 kind of evolved because of late in the season making some acquisitions. We brought in guys like Antoine Vermette, and they kind of were able to get those guys in a loophole when Kane got injured. So I don't think this is as deep a team. It's interesting where I think early in the season this team got very lucky where they relied so heavily on Corey Crawford and some clutch goals, and then as the year evolved, the team evolved, and it was guys like Nick Schmaltz came back from the Rockford in the AHL, and he came back and stepped up, and all of a sudden kind of filled the hole that they were missing on the top line and left wing with Taves and Panic, and that top line started soaring, and Taves certainly had his play certainly escalated as the second half went on. So I'm here at the rink already. I don't know if you can hear.
I was going to say, did somebody score?
Somebody
Kaner scored already.
Again.
So they're working on the audio here.
That's awesome.
But I think I think this team's gotten better. I think what they showed in February, especially a little bit of March, that they showed they can win by possessing the puck and doing a lot of things they've done in the past to be successful. I think Corey Crawford's still a big key, especially in 13 and 15. He was clutch in the playoffs. Struggled against the Predators at one point, and Scott Dowling had stepped up. But I think Crawford's the key, where he's been lights out for a good portion of this year. And like a year ago when they got bounced by the Blues, they lacked some defenseman depth, and I feel like they addressed that with Campbell and getting Johnny Aduya at the trade deadline. So the fourth line's a little bit not as probably as good as years past, but the top nine, the top three lines are pretty good, and they have the defenseman depth, and if Corey Crawford's on. It's a big X factor. So, I think they can make a run. I think the Predators are a really good team too. So it's one of those series where I think the Blackhawks get through them. They have a pretty good chance to get to the Cup. If not, I guess I wouldn't be surprised at some level the Predators shock them too.
Okay, well that's interesting because I want to ask you about those Predators. Follow Scott Powers on Twitter. Just search @by Scott Powers is how you get to him. Now the Predators. I remember a couple of years ago. Chicago, I think the Predators came out on this like 3-0, 4-0 lead in game one, and then here come the Hawks back. And that turned out to be a fun series, but Chicago won it, then they knocked off the Blues. Nashville's just one of these teams that every year you keep waiting for them to kind of make that next step. They're kind of that Atlanta Falcons for you and I, Jeremy. Scott doesn't know what we're talking about. That finally would make that next step.
I think Scott knows who the Atlanta Falcons are.
Well, no, but I mean, he doesn't know how you and I picked him to win a Super Bowl every stinking year. But this Predators team, I mean, they can be dangerous, Scott. And how can they be dangerous? What should Blackhawk fans need to look for with this team?
Well, I think you saw a lot of it in 15 where they were able to run Crawford off and, got to Darling. And a bunch of those games are really tight. When you look back in the 15 run, there was a double overtime game. The Blackhawks won a triple overtime game. I think there's 3 games decided by 1 goal. It's a pretty tight series. And I feel like Nashville's addressed some of its issues the last few years, going out and getting PK Subban. They've added some more offensive talent. Their top line's really good, and Philip Forsberg and Ryan Johansson and Victor Arvidsson. I mean, they had 2 30-goal scorers on that line. So, looking at their defenseman depth, too, I think it's just as good or even better than the Blackhawks. Where you have Ellis and Yossi and Subban and Ekholm. And so it's a really good group of players. And it's experience. It has been through some tough times in the playoffs. And last year they got to the second round, so they, advanced a little bit. Still relying on Pecorine, and he's had some ups and downs in the playoffs. He has played well as of late, so I think they're optimistic about being able to ride him. And I don't know. It feels like it's a group that's ready to take the next step.
Sure.
And facing the Blackhawks is kind of fitting for them. I think if you're going to get there, you want to maybe beat the team that you lost to. In 2010, the Blackhawks certainly had a tough series with them, and Blackhawks won that and won the Cup, and certainly did that in 15 too. So I think the Blackhawks represent, organization that they want to beat if they can, for them to take their next step.
Good call.
Who do you think are the biggest threats in the West, Scott? And can the Capitals not be a disappointment this year?
I don't know. That East is so stacked, right?
It is.
I think yesterday was big for the Blues. They're playing well. I don't think that's how they want to win games throughout the series. I think all those series, and I think Anaheim's played well. I think Anaheim might be the favorite at this point. But if Minnesota can figure it out, they're obviously really dangerous. And I don't think what happened for the first, 3/4 of the season was a fluke. I think there's a lot of skill there, and even last night they obviously pushed the Blues to the verge of defeat. And the way they put up those numbers, usually you kind of put that many chances on a goalie, eventually going to break through in a series. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's the West it's a bit up for grabs. Where obviously the Blackhawks had the best record during the regular season, but they had some numbers that underlying numbers that kind of question whether they can do that throughout the playoffs too. So I think the one thing the Blackhawks do have the advantage is the goalie who's had the success. And
yes.
You look up and down the Western Conference, there's guys that have played well in the regular season and certainly had some elite numbers, but they haven't probably put together in playoffs as much. So I think there's a lot of questions throughout the league about guys that are if they can kind of lead their teams to victory in that. So and in the East, I think last night was a good sign of some of those fun teams, and Pittsburgh's playing so well. And I think the Washington series is going to be fun too. So it's a fun type of year where obviously in the NBA you kind of have teams you expect to win, and in hockey it's a little bit more open.
And here we go. We're here, man. NHL playoffs.
Scott, you covered Chicago in basketball for a long time. I'm wondering if you ran into Chin Coleman at all and what you think of that hire for Illinois.
Yeah, no, Chin knows what he's doing. He's connected. He's the guy with the fire, and certainly had some success with some different at UIC and kind of been recruiting kids for the Fire before, just having them play for the Fire. It's competitive among those AAU teams. So,
sure.
I think he gets your foot in the door, and then it's I think we've seen it with almost everyone. It's can you beat that kid from Kentucky, North Carolina, But I think that he opens the door to relationships, and he's going to be able to get you into the right people, and people are comfortable with him. So, sometimes you've heard with hires that it's just a guy that they don't know or they're not comfortable with. So I think he understands Chicago recruiting. I think he knows the right people and can get the new staff into the door. And then it's I think ultimately the head coach has to sell it, and you got to figure out a way to recruit from those other bigger programs. But no, I think it's a positive hire. I think there's a lot of upside there to what he gives to Illinois.
There's a lot of guys right now and girls listening at their desks, and they're doing all this, listening to our show, and then there's Scott Powers who gets to go to the United Center. That's his desk right now. That's his place of work. We love it. Scott Powers, The Athletic. Always appreciate the time you take to join us, buddy. Follow him on Twitter, @ByScottPowers. Thanks, Scott.
Take care.
Thanks, buddy. That is Scott Powers. Always the quickest off.
Yes. He's got stuff to do, man.
He does. He just, I love it, but he's been like that. The first time he ever did it, I thought, man, I don't think he really enjoyed coming on with it. Now he did. That's just how he is. Yeah. It's like, all right, thanks, guys.
That's a great site. Scott's a great beat writer. Chris Hine from the Chicago Tribune will join us throughout the playoffs. He's a great beat writer, too, but the Athletics put together a really good team there, and Scott's a big part of it.
You know what I love about the NHL playoffs, and we talk about this each year, is that those that are Blackhawks fans or those that are Blues fans, that maybe it's kind of like being a Cub or a Cardinal fan where you focus maybe on your division. But in hockey, I don't even think you go that far. You know your team. You probably know the Blues, and the Blues know the Blackhawks. But then when you face like a team like Nashville tonight, after the first period, you're already marking the guys you hate on that Nashville team. You're like, oh, that guy's driving me nuts. And by the time a 7-game series or 6 or 5 even is over, you have already marked guys down the future that you just hate, that you just never want to see their face again.
And Shea Weber's no longer there,
no,
right?
They traded him with Subban. And Subban
for Subban, right?
Yeah, for Subban. And Subban's not had a good, I think he was -8 in plus minus. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But you know where he comes to play? The playoffs. Yeah. So this will be interesting. And, Nashville made that trade to do something different. I think both teams needed something different. So it'll be interesting to see if he is a catalyst for the Preds tonight.
We got 2 bits of bad news. Dan Rooney, the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers owner, has passed away at the age of 84, and what he's synonymous now is the Rooney Rule,
right?
Of making sure that it's a rule that you have to interview a minority for the head coaching job. So, forward-thinking, progressive guy, obviously that franchise. has had plenty of success under Dan Rooney.
Imagine just all the wins that guy was a part of, all the Super Bowls he was a part of. I mean, that's an owner that obviously did things right. People that played for him loved him. You could ask Josh Whitman. You could probably ask Kerry Davis. Those guys probably got a chance to meet him and really appreciate a guy like that. So tough news for Steelers fans.
Also, Jennifer Langosh tweeted out that the St. Louis Cardinals have announced Lou Brock was recently diagnosed with bone cancer and is currently undergoing treatment for multiple myeloma. So bone cancer for Lou Brock.
Okay.
That was one of the coolest moments of our radio show.
Goodness.
First year we're down at spring training. We had an hour with Lou and his wife.
In the booth.
Yeah.
He just walks up to the booth and sits down with us, and we weren't sure if we were going to interview him for 20 minutes, and we kind of asked. I think you and I were both looking at each other like, should we ask him?
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, I'll be on all hour. I don't care. And we're like, are you kidding me?
Lou's 77, by the way.
That's awesome. Well, that's terrible news to hear. Thoughts and prayers, obviously, the entire Cardinal Nation and even all of baseball will definitely have their thoughts and prayers, not only with the Rooney family, but also Lou Brock as he battles this. We'll hope that he can battle through it.
If you want to weigh in, 359-2255, that's 217-359-2255. We have the injury report coming up, and also the Bulls are in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yay?
Are you excited?
We'll discuss that.
We'll find out. All right, it is the Tay and J Show.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing, plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger, or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Securities and advisory services are through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Geico presents a voicemail from your friend, Washing Machine.
Hi, it's Washing Machine. It's about, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So, good news, bad news. First, I found your lost sock. Exciting. Also, I might have maybe flooded the whole basement. It's going to be pretty expensive. But hey, at least you got that sock.
Your washing machine won't pay for water damage. Luckily, one call to the Geico Insurance Agency makes it easy to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
The Champaign County Republicans present Stephen Moore at the annual Lincoln Day celebration. Economist, author, and policy analyst for the Heritage Foundation and a University of Illinois grad, Stephen Moore took a leave from the Heritage Foundation to work on the Trump campaign. He'll talk about his time on that campaign trail and the historic election at the Hilton Garden Inn, Wednesday, April 19th at 6 p.m. For more details and to buy tickets, go to ChampaignCountyRepublicans.org. When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hey, tonight at 6 o'clock, after the Tay and J Show, it's a special airing of the 200 level. Nice. Steve Breitweiser and Mike Carpenter talk all things Illini basketball. There's only 2 episodes left in this season. It's been an action-packed season of the 200 level. Tonight, 6 o'clock after the Tay and J Show.
Speaking of just things that just continue to give us news to talk about, they have been an example of that. They've had plenty to talk about on the 200 level club. So stay tuned for that tonight. It is time to head to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line and bring on Matthew Gordon. He's Doctor of Physical Therapy with the Mettler Center. It is our weekly Mettler Center injury report. How you doing, Matthew?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
We are well, buddy.
Well, we just threw an audible at you.
We did.
Because we're going to call Carp out. He went with Gary Sanchez, who's a Yankee. He's on the DL.
I looked at you and I'm like, who's Gary Sanchez?
You should know who Gary Sanchez is.
I should.
But we'll make it more local.
Okay.
And it includes some firepower offensively for Lon's St. Louis Blues, and that's Paul Stasny. He's got a lower body injury. Matthew, how do you help a lower body injury?
I mean, yeah, there's a few things that could be going wrong with a lower body injury. I mean, it's half the body. So, when you think about like ice hockey, especially like lower body injuries, I think right now they're saying he's going to miss. It looks like a game. So you can rule out pretty much anything at the knee. Like, you can assume it instantly. Okay, one game, he didn't just, tear his ACL, MCL, nothing like that.
Right.
So most likely with a hockey player, you're looking at some kind of like an ankle sprain or like a fracture or something like that.
Okay.
The thing with hockey, though, you think about like, how high they lace up those shoes. So as a hockey player, if you're going to have an ankle sprain, you're not going to have the normal basketball sprain. You think about March Madness with North Carolina's point guard. He rolled that ankle multiple times. That's not what you're going to see. You're going to see more of that high ankle sprain, which is actually a spraining of the ligament that holds your two bones together in your leg, your tibia and your fibula. And those can take a little while to heal. That's something Kobe Bryant was out with for quite a few weeks. But more likely, you're looking at some kind of like a fracture in one of the bones of the feet, or even one of the toes. Most commonly, fractured bone in the foot, you're looking at base of the fifth metatarsal. It's one of the bones on the outside of your feet. And those get fractured a lot in runners primarily. So you wouldn't think that. But if it is a fracture, as long as it's non-displaced, this is something that, pending being able to like brace it, tape it, and put a little extra security around it, he might actually be able to play if it's a small fracture, non-displaced.
Yeah, and they think that his own teammate, Vladdy Tarasenko, hit him with a puck. It was an accident, of course, and they think that's what it is a broken foot. But hockey guys, Matthew, at this time of year, they just say, tape it up, I want to be out there. I mean, are there certain bone fractures that you could actually legitimately go out and play?
There are certain things. The big things you're looking for is the bone actually displaced? Is it a fracture going all the way through? Is it just a small fracture on the outside or the outside portion? We hear this a lot in regards to like basketball, where a guy can get like a bone bruise.
Got it.
And a bone bruise is basically a fracturing of only the outer portion or the cortical portion of a bone. And so if it's something like that, yeah, that's something that you could come back from really quick. The downside to any kind of a fracture is it's a weakening of that bone. And so all of a sudden your potential risk for worsening that fracture goes sky high. So it's one of those things you really have to weigh out. Okay, is this a fracture that can safely take weight? And in the case of hockey, can he stop on a dime in order to change direction or something? Or is this something we're putting him at risk at? And that's where you have to look at the images and really talk with the orthopedic surgeons about.
Well said.
Matthew, always appreciate the information, man.
Very welcome, guys. Have a good weekend. Have a good Easter.
You too, buddy. Happy Easter.
If you have an ache or pain, you get a free consultation. Just go to MetlerCenter.com for more information.
All right, buddy. Next hour, Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach. We're going to learn what Liddyville is, right?
That's right. Talk a little recruiting.
You and I aren't with it.
No.
Because we don't know what Liddyville is.
I don't think when you say with it,
I know,
it makes you any more
makes
with
me
it.
even more not with it. All right, we'll do that next hour. Thad Ward, we got some next question as well. It is the Tay and J Show. Man, I'm old.
Racing action is back this Friday night at the Farmer City Raceway in Farmer City, Illinois. It's Union Card Night. $5 general admission to those that show their Union Card. Plus a full show. Late models, modifieds, streets, prolates, plus B-mods. General admission is just $12. Veterans get in for $5. Kids 12 and under are free at the Farmer City Raceway in Farmer City, Illinois. Don't miss the action this Friday night. The Farmer City Raceway will sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
The mother of all bombs has been dropped in eastern Afghanistan. The state had target a network of Islamic State terrorist tunnels.
21,000 pounds pushed out of the back of a plane, and it is GPS guided. And it is, if you think of those Tomahawk missiles that were used in Syria, those were 1,000 pounds of explosives. This was 21,000 pounds.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. This bomb had never been used in combat before. Videos of dead or sickened Syrian civilians after a gas attack last week could have been faked, says Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
Definitely, 100% for us, it's fabrication. We don't have arsenal. We're not going to use it.
He says the story may have been made up to then justify a U.S. airstrike on a Syrian airfield. Our government says no. Assad ordered that chemical weapons attack. A city committee in Chicago questioning officials from United Airlines and the Chicago Aviation Department about the forced removal of a passenger from an overbooked flight by city-employed airport security officers. That man's now out of the hospital and needs reconstructive surgery, according to his lawyer.
Attorney Tom Demetrio says the way that his client, David Dow, was forced off the United flight was unreasonable.
Will there be a lawsuit? Yeah, probably.
Though Demetrio, who is also accompanied by Dow's daughter in a press briefing here, says he first plans a discovery hearing expected Monday. We're told Dow suffered a concussion, a broken nose, and lost 2 teeth in the incident. That's become a PR nightmare for the airline and perhaps a lesson for others who Demetrio contends have bullied passengers for years. In Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
On Wall Street today, the Dow down 138 points, the S&P down 15, the NASDAQ down 31, and you're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
The people who design, engineer, and build Ford vehicles never rest, and neither do the specialists who service them. No one keeps those cars and trucks running or stopping better than them. After all, no one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $25 rebate by mail on any Motorcraft brake service, plus another $25 when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, taxes extra, rebate by prepaid debit card. Pads or shoes on most vehicles, 1 axle exclusions apply. See your participating Ford dealer for rebate details through 6/30/17.
Pope Francis washed the feet of a dozen inmates at a maximum security prison today. It's to commemorate the Last Supper and Jesus Christ washing his apostles' feet for this Holy Thursday before Easter. 4 bodies have been found in a park on Long Island, New York.
Police in Suffolk County say the men whose identities were not released were murdered. The victims, ranging from 16 to 20 years of age, are said to have suffered significant trauma throughout their bodies. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Timothy Sini says the tragedy points directly to gang involvement.
The manner in which they were killed is consistent with the modus operandi of MS-13, so we are clearly looking into that possibility.
This discovery comes a few weeks after MS-13 gang members were arrested in the deaths of 2 teenage girls from Long Island. Sini says the FBI is part of the investigation. In New York, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
And apologies accepted for an outing on a reality show.
Jeff Varner, who was about to be voted off the show, outed a fellow contestant on CBS's Survivor Game Changer.
Why haven't you told anyone you're transgender? What I'm showing is a deception.
But that's personal.
It has nothing.
Varner was voted off the island anyway. He later went on Twitter with a statement offering his deepest apologies to Zeke Smith and his family, saying outing someone as an assault, it robs that person of their power and protection. Smith, who was previously a contestant on the show during Survivor Millennials vs. Gen X, told The Hollywood Reporter that he had forgiven Varner, saying his actions had nothing to do with him, even though he was targeted. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
In Wilmington, Delaware, a 17-year-old girl is convicted of negligent homicide. Another girl died after a fight with her in their high school bathroom. A family court judge delivered the ruling. Another girl is convicted of criminal conspiracy. Another girl is acquitted. In New York, I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
I love that song. Will Smith getting jiggy with it when he started out with the
20 years ago.
Yeah, has that been 20 years?
At least.
Summertime.
That was an
It's been
earlier
like
album.
30 years. hasn't it? Wow.
That was about 25, something like that.
Yeah.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, chance of thunderstorms, a low of 55. Friday, chance of thunderstorms, high 77, low of 62. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 81, a low of 62. Right now, mostly cloudy, 78 in Champaign-Urbana.
Tay and J Show. Tay, Jeremy Warner. If you're one of those Cub fans that is DVRing and you want to go home and watch it, then close your ears real quick. But they are in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubbies up on the Dodgers. 4-0. Cubs trying to take 2 or 3. It's the old rubber game, as they call it in Major League Baseball. 4-zip, 8th inning.
It is Tay and J Show. He's Tay. I'm Jeremy Warner. Let's head to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. A lot of schools are doing spring football. Illinois has been done for about a month.
Right.
But they're gearing up to get on the recruiting trail, and one of the top recruiters on the staff joining us now, and that's Thad Ward, Awana running backs coach. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
First question I have for you.
Okay.
Who in your life
Sure.
calls you Thaddeus?
Well, when I'm in trouble with the wife and then my mom.
Just
That's
those
about
two?
it.
Can anybody
That's
else
about
call
it.
you? Can anybody else call you that without you getting angry?
You know, I don't get angry about it, but I know that when she says Thaddeus, I know what time it is. I definitely know what time.
Yeah, you don't like to hear that.
Coach, for us,
Right.
who aren't with it, can you explain hashtag Liddyville?
Yeah, so Liddyville is something we have around the office and really something that's starting to heat up in Champaign a little bit. And, you know, something, like I said, something we have fun with, but it's a state of mind. And I think this place is a very fun place. I mean, we got Lil Wayne in town tonight. It's going to be a huge month in April. A lot of deals we have coming up in Champaign. I just think this place is a place to be. And so we want this place to be Liddyville all the time. And that's going to become a part of the culture as we continue to build a program and win and get everybody back. So it's going to be Liddyville in Memorial Stadium.
I love the way he says it.
Is this based off of kids saying it's lit?
It's lit, right?
It's lit.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's where it started, from lit. And then I said, you know what, man, this is nice. This place is Green Street, and it's a great, beautiful day like today. man, this place is Liddyville.
So
that's how we kind of.
we needed it explained to two old white dudes.
Right,
here,
yeah. So if I'm out and about in Champaign this weekend and I throw out Liddyville, people are going to be like, dang, man, you're with it, Tay.
Hey, you will be surprised, man. I'll walk in Walgreens or CVS. How you doing, man? Mr. Liddyville. And I'm like, okay, all right. I guess people up there
catching on.
This is fantastic. Thad Ward is our guest, Illini running backs coach.
Thad, you do have fun on Twitter.
Yes, he does.
And that includes a little bit of shade thrown at some competitors out there.
Yeah, I've been known to throw a little shade.
I mean, is that just showing that you guys aren't scared?
Definitely. I think that's needed in our coach. We work hard. We got in bed at 5 a.m. and we grind, but you have to be able to have fun with what you do and love what you do. And it's just really what I believe. It comes out of my pores, and I'm passionate about what we do. And it's something that's said the wrong way. Sometimes I send little messages. Nobody gets it, but I'm getting my point across. Half of the time, nobody gets it. But I think it's just showing our fan base and the people who are following us that, hey, we're going to be second to nobody. I really believe that.
Well, Coach, you guys had a pretty successful 2017 recruiting cycle, obviously. What was that recruiting experience like for you here at Illinois in the 17?
It was a long process. We had to hit the road running in this spring, but if you stay with it, I think we signed, like you said, a great group of guys. At this time, we look back, and Larry, I can say the names now, but Larry Boyd, we couldn't even get a hold of him. And it's just building relationships, continuing. It's my first time actually recruiting St. Louis. And so we're going to do the same thing this year. We're going to have a better recruiting class than we had last year. And I think we're headed in the right direction. But I think the big part of it is because this is a great institution, and we have great coaches here that we can sell as well.
Coach, you touched on that, the fact that you guys got off to a late start, obviously, when Lovey was hired and then your staff was accumulated. For us, we can explain that to listeners. We can explain that to ourselves about how you're behind. When do you catch up? Do you feel like you've caught up now going into 18 with that?
Yeah, you do, but you don't. It's because what you do is when you have turnover. For us, it's been pretty good because most of us are in our same areas. So when you're able to dig in and have your same area, and you're able to get in on those 18s and or 19s and even the 20s, I think that's where it starts. And you start, really building relationships. They see you in the school. They know who you are. That's Coach Ward. That's Coach Bucket. Those guys coming through. And they begin to see you, and they get to know you. And you get them on campus, and they know your staff. But that's how it starts. So when you're coming in, you're behind already. When you're first coming in as staff, you're going to be behind already. I think you start to catch up. But some classes are going to be bigger than others, and so you move at a certain pace that you want to move. I just think you work at it each and every day, like we try to do here, and eventually you start knocking them down, and we'll start to see that pretty soon as well.
He's Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach. We talk about Chicago recruiting all the time, Coach, but this roster really lacks St. Louis talent, and you guys were able to get Tony Adams and Larry Boyd last year to kind of double the St. Louis presence on your roster here. What is the key to recruiting that area? You said that was your first time recruiting there, and you guys really seem to make a mark. What do you think of that area, and what's the key to getting kids from there?
I tell you, I love the area. I love the coaches there, building those relationships with those guys. And it's tough. It was tough to break in. Like I said, I really didn't get a chance to really break in with Larry until the summer. And it was just about pushing and keep pushing. And you send them notes and you keep. And at some point, it's just like trying to date that girl and she won't pay attention to you. But you keep showing them love. You keep going after them. And eventually he broke through and he got here. He loved it. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a big part. We've had most of the guys up, all of them really, from St. Louis. So this year, it's a great group of guys that we're going to go after and see what we can get. But, I mean, it was fun recruiting those guys, Tony and Larry. Those were great kids that were loyal to us. And, those kids are going to be good players for us.
Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach, joining us here on the Tay and J Show. Jeremy Warner, Lon Tay. You heavily recruit Florida too, and so does everybody.
Yeah, I want that gig, Coach. Come on, Did you just pick out of a hat and you're like, yeah, I got Florida?
Oh, he's from Florida.
No,
right?
I'm kidding.
That's the funny thing about it. When Coach Smith and I first started talking, it was Chicago. I probably have recruited this state longer than anybody, Coach McGee and myself. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm back in Chicago, recruiting. And he started to get to know me a little better and realized that I had those Florida ties and put me in South Florida. And I've actually expanded my role now. I'm actually going to do Dade County, which is Miami, Broward, Fort Lauderdale, and then Palm Beach. So I'm going to do the Tri-Counties, which I'm really excited about. It's a lot of hard work, but you know what? I think we'll do a good job down there as well. So.
Juan dreams of going to like a beach on these trips.
Yes.
Have you even seen a beach on a recruiting trip?
You know what? Spring practice is probably. I'm excited too. I go out next week. But spring practice is hard because you're on the road all day, in and out of schools, and then you have practice to go to. So I'm at practice till 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. By the time I get out of practice, my last practice, I'm tired. I'm ready to go back to the hotel to try to recuperate for the next day. And it's 20-some days of that nonstop.
Yeah.
And so it's practice here, this practice, that practice, and you're trying to get them all. And it's tough to get the 3 practices in one day. You know what I mean? And make everybody happy. And so I think it's getting in those schools, sitting down, building those relationships, continuing those relationships. You have to spend time with these coaches, so they get to know you. And so that's a part of it as well.
I think I would just tell a coach, meet me at the beach. I mean, that might, listen, that might go a long way, coach. You might just say, hey, meet me down at the beach.
Screw the evaluation of a player.
Exactly.
Yeah, just go to the beach.
Right. I hear you. I may try that this time, Hey, meet me at the beach. Meet me at South Beach.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of these kids. No.
Well, Coach, do you guys as assistants get competitive about landing kids or anything like that? I know Fair and Buckus get after it a little bit.
We do, but I think has always the great staff, and this is one of the hardest things in recruiting, is just really not have, you really have to be focused on getting the best players, not who's recruiting them, really as a team, because at the end of the day, we all have to team up and recruit these kids, but really putting your ego aside and saying, let's do what's best for the University of Illinois.
Right.
If I have a kid that better in my area, or we take the best kid, or Fair has a kid that's better than theirs. We do compete. I mean, I think, though, we do compete. We're competitive, and you want to win to get your guy in there. And so that's always going to be a part of it. We like to win everything that keep counting. So, scoring. So,
well, that's
part of it.
You are the Illini running backs coach, and you've got some talent at that position. What do you expect out of that position, especially with some of the newcomers coming in?
Man, I'll start with Kendrick. I expect growth with him. I expect to see him play better. And because I think where he's growing right now and where he's growing is his knowledge of the game. And that's what we're continuing to improve with him. And so as he lines up this year, he's going to know who's blocking who, what's going on, pre-snap before the play even starts. Last year, he was learning what to do on the play. Now he has a better understanding of this entire offense, and I think that's going to go a long way for us. And I think the same thing with Reggie, and then adding another big piece, Dre Brown coming back.
Yeah.
Excited about to see him come back, adding a bigger back in the backfield, and then you throw in the 2 wild cards, these 2 freshman running backs, Rayvon Bonner and Mike Epstein. I think the world of these guys. I think they're going to have something special. I think they both bring something different to the table. And I'm expecting big things. They're right now they're studying. They're going to be ready to go when they get here. So they're getting ready right now.
Coach, have you seen Dre run the ball yet? What do you know about Dre?
Yeah, I've seen Dre. I had Dre for about a week and a half last spring. And he was running well. He was doing a great job. Actually, when he got hurt, he had a probably 40-yard run. And so I'm looking to give him a high five on the way back. And that's when I was able to see him come back. He was kind of limping. So that's when he was injured at that point. So, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to really see him anymore. But I'm looking forward to it. He's ready. He's back, fully cleared, ready to go in fall camp. And so, like I said, he's done a great job. I know him. I know him. I lived in the town with him for probably 3 years. So, when I was in DeKalb.
Yeah.
And so he's a guy that we're building our relationship and look forward to big things from Dre too as well.
Coach, before I came here, I covered Northern Illinois for a year before you got up there, and they had a quarterback, Jordan Lynch, who I know you're familiar with. He was pretty good. The first run he had a 92-yard touchdown against Temple. But I always tell people I see that kind of player in Chase Crouch. Do you kind of see similarities there?
I do. One thing I know, I talked to Jordan a couple of weeks ago, and congratulating him on his job up there at Northern. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that Jordan had, I think that Chase has, was that leadership. Chase is a leader. You see that in Chase. You've seen that in Jordan. And, the one thing, Jordan didn't talk a whole lot. And I don't think Chase talks a whole lot either. He led by what he did every day, how he worked. And he didn't really have to yell at the guys all the time. They saw how he worked, and they followed. And I think that's a sign of a good leader. The guys have to follow. And I think Chase is going to be a great leader for us. He's been that way this offseason. And I think he's going to have a finish up his career doing some good things.
Last question for me, Thad. Guys like Dre Brown, you mentioned coming back from injury. Mikey Dudek, Lovey came out today and said things look pretty good right now. What does that do? What does that do mentally for the rest of the team, especially Mikey? Dre hasn't had a chance to prove what he can do on the field. Mikey has. Right. What does that mentally do for the rest of the team to think, all right, we've got this guy back now?
Right. I just think it's good because first and foremost, they're friends. All these guys, they're friends, they're teammates, and they're happy for Mike, and they see that he's coming back and he's had some success, had a chance to watch him practice and do some things, not actually practice, but run and do things and participate like the rest of the guys. I think they're happy for Mike first, and then we know that if Mike is back, he's gonna play and make some plays for us as well.
Sure.
I think it first starts with them seeing their brother back and happy for him. So it does a lot for our team. I think it helps our morale tremendously.
All right, Thad Ward, I'm gonna try Liddyville out. I'm gonna see how this works.
So let's do it.
So what do you tell the wife and kids when you go on these trips? I mean, how long? Like, how often do you see them? Is it FaceTime? You gotta keep in touch with them.
FaceTime. I tell you, I have a wonderful family. It's bad when I say they're used to it, but it is. I mean, it's not just the trips. I mean, it's dinner time. And one of these big time, Larry Boyd calls, well, Daddy got to talk. We're in the middle of dinner. No matter where we are, Tony calls, I got to pick up the phone. Yeah. So they're used to that.
Yeah.
I may get one of those Thaddeus, what's going on, but every now and then. But no, they're used to it. And we have a football family.
Yep.
That's
and
cool.
They know, we came to the University of Illinois to build this thing the right way and to win and to compete for Big Ten championships. In order to do that, you have to be a recruit. Yeah. Recruiting is a bloodline of your program.
No doubt.
So this is the number one thing. I wake up every morning. First thing we're doing, we're recruiting. So you got to do it every day, every single day, and that's what we're trying to do here. And so that's what we're going to try to do.
Well, Thad, good luck on the trail. Safe travels, get some rest, and make sure you don't get a Thaddeus thrown out there. But we appreciate your time, Thad.
Man, enjoyed it, man. I appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. Appreciate that. Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach. I could see him being on the phone during dinner and his wife going, "Hey, Thaddeus."
I get some of those looks sometimes.
I bet.
Especially when these guys land a recruit or something.
That is correct.
Here's the kid.
And if you're the recruit, if you're Thad Ward, you basically tell the recruit, if you ever hear a Thaddeus coming from the other room, I got to go. I got to go immediately. We'll continue the conversation later. If you hear Thaddeus, I'm in trouble. Let me get off the phone. Let me work things over, smooth things over. I'll be back.
Yeah, but what if you miss on the kid because of it?
Well, then the wife.
I think you can make up for it with the wife, right?
Maybe.
She's kind of pot committed to it.
Maybe.
At least a little bit.
And moms should understand. I mean, they should understand. Like, Mom, I got to go. I got things to do. Liddyville. All right, I'm going to try this out.
We figured it out.
So it's like lit. So the kids today say it's lit.
So then he made it Liddyville.
Okay, I like it. Can we start doing that? Can I start using that as my hashtag?
Do you want to go for it, Juan? I think it's cool coming from you.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to tweet out Liddyville, just hashtag Liddyville, and see what people say. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do right now.
All right.
This is going to be fun.
Go for it. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255.
Harry just shakes his head at me.
Did want to throw this out there. Tuscola offensive lineman Hunter Woodard. Was an honorable mention All-Stater, big kid, 6'5", 280.
Wow.
Was just offered by Illinois.
Oh, okay.
He was on a visit today. I talked with him earlier today.
Congratulations.
So probably going to talk to him during this break about it. So
okay.
Give me a little bit longer.
All right.
Break.
We will do a longer break. Jeremy is heading out the door right now to do his job. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. That's the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or the Chief Bauer text line. Dan Hartlib at 525. The rest of the time, it's all you and your questions. It is the Tay and J Show.
Shop local, support your community, and get healthy at Urbana's Market at the Square each and every Saturday, May through November, rain or shine, from 7 to noon on the corner of Illinois and Vine in downtown Urbana.
Shop and enjoy Illinois-grown products, including meat, dairy, honey, baked goods, produce, flowers, plants, arts, crafts, and food trucks.
Market goers will also enjoy chef demos and samples on the first Thursday of each month. Make sure to check out their new website, urbanamarket.org, for info about vendors, programs, and much more.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Field & Stream invites you to join us this Saturday, April 15th, for our biggest firearm and ammunition sale of the season. At this year's Lock and Load shooting event, you'll find savings of up to $200 on top firearm brands. Be one of the first 100 adults in line and receive a free Field & Stream mystery gift card valued from $10 to $100. Live prize drawings will take place every hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See store for official rules. Start a new tradition Saturday, April 15th. Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Bring into double points now through the end of May with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Double points are waiting for you. Now through the end of May, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for lawn and garden, sporting goods, nurseries, and home improvement stores and score double points. Plus, you can earn an extra 1,000 bonus points when you use your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department. So what does your day look like?
It's different every day. You go into the sheriff's office and grab some civil papers to serve some people, and then you respond to calls. You do traffic stops. When it's nice out, you get out and talk to people in the community that are out on the streets walking, play basketball with the kids like a lot of our guys do.
Yeah, you probably sandbag the kids because your former Champaign Central lead you to sectional player. Brian Malik, could you shoot the three?
I could. I was very good. Yeah. At least in my own mind.
Can you shoot with a vest on?
A little more difficult. You had about 25 or 30 pounds. It makes it a little more difficult to get the ball up there.
You always have to be keyed up. Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
Yeah. Most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. Doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
And brought to you by Effie Moran Security Solutions. The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
You know you need to do it, and you know you should do it at least twice a year. You owe it to yourself. I'm talking about a checkup at West Main Dental in Urbana. When was the last time you visited the dentist? If you can't remember, or you're in need of a new dentistry team, West Main Dental is where you should go. Our team at West Main Dental is waiting to see you. Come in and be catered by a professional staff that includes Dr. Janet Bardell, a University of Illinois and Southern Illinois University graduate. West Main Dental offers the highest level of dental care in a warm and comforting environment. From a simple quick checkup to providing you with an at-home teeth whitening kit or orthodontic services, trust the professionals at West Main Dental. Visit West Main Dental in downtown Urbana on Main Street, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292. Trust me, you won't be able to stop smiling with a set of healthy, sparkling white teeth thanks to the work of West Main Dental. West Main Dental, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292 to schedule an appointment today.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Cheeseburger, medium, American, fries.
4:30, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Save up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through the end of the month. Just email mypvdiscount at gmail.com. Cubs win. Take the series against the Dodgers. 4-0 today. Anthony Rizzo, first homer of the year. Addison Russell hit one onto Waveland as well. Miles Bridges returning to Michigan State for his sophomore season, despite most projecting him as a top 20 draft pick. The Bulls' postseason drought will only last one season. They beat the Nets last night to clinch the 8th seed. They'll play the top seed Celtics. Pacers also won. They clinched the 7th seed and a first-round date with the defending champion Cavaliers. Jake Allen stood on his head, saved the Blues in a Game 1 win over the Wild in overtime, 2-1. Jake Allen, 51 saves. Tonight, the top-seeded Blackhawks dropped the puck on their postseason against the Predators at 7 o'clock. Lovie Smith had some key injury updates yesterday, including quarterback Chase Crouch.
So he's right on schedule. You know, we've transitioned into the other part of our all-season program now, lifting, running, and all that. And he won't have any problems. He's our starting quarterback, undisputed leader of our football team, and just can't wait to get him back out there. But no issues as far as the surgery that he had in off season or during the season.
We just had Thad Ward, Illinois running backs coach, on to explain Liddyville.
Just tweeted it out.
There you go. And recruiting. And speaking of recruiting, Illinois offered a local kid, Hunter Woodard, offensive lineman out of Tuscola, just received an Illinois offer. Some sad news in baseball. Lou Brock, Cardinals great, has bone cancer. And in football, sad news as well, as Dan Rooney, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, has passed away at age 84.
Shoot. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Lon.
I got my taxes done today. Yes!
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, well, right. I guess. Hey,
here's the check, government.
I always take one with me. Taxes can be taxing, so rethink tax time with Busey. Their associates are here to help every step of the way with expert advice, innovative products, and services. Tax day, by the way, is April 18th. You actually get a couple of extra days. Tuesday, April 18th. You can avoid costly penalties and keep money in your pocket by, how about this, organizing your records. Mine were fairly organized today. Filing electronically. Did you know less than 1% of electronic returns have errors compared to 20% of paper returns? The typical taxpayer earns a refund of $3,000, so make use of that refund, you can pay down bad debt, build savings, establish an emergency fund. And you can use My TurboTax at Busey. It's easy, fast, safe, and secure. You just log in to Busey eBank, click on My TurboTax, and sign in. It's honestly that easy. So visit Busey.com or stop by one of their many convenient locations today to get started on your maximum refund.
Love that riff. It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. That's The Handler by Muse, by the way, if you cared about it. Great album.
Stupid Rizzo, stupid Cubs.
They're good. The Cardinals are not so good right now.
Can you turn the channel now that it's over?
Cardinals 3 and 6.
Oh, hell, I got the remotes right here.
Cardinals 3 and 6, but you got Mike Leake going for you.
Yeah, how about that, huh? Guy, he has pitched well twice. Now,
that's really good.
You cautiously warned me that last year he came out strong.
Down?
Yes, please.
Well, he didn't come out strong last year. He sucked to start April.
Oh, okay.
Because Cliff and Urbana sent me that because I was not a fan and still not a fan of that contract for Mike Leake. He is what he is. But last May, he had a great May. He was 4-1 with a 2.31 ERA. Every other month, he had an ERA of 4.8 or higher.
What was his good ERA?
2.31 in May.
Okay, that is good.
And that was 6 starts.
Okay.
So that's a great stretch.
That's a good solid stretch for a kid that's a good little athlete, is what they always say.
Every other month, 4.8 ERA or higher in the National League.
Sounds like Wainwright.
I mean, he's an innings eater.
He is.
He's everything the Cubs wanted in Edwin Jackson.
Yeah. And he's got the flow, though, right? Now that we're talking young with Whittet and Liddyville, he's got the flow. He's got the long hair. So he looks the part. I mean, he looks good.
I actually used Flo in a recruiting story the other day because they offered this kid out of Florida who's just got the best hair and beard combo. He's 26 years old.
Oh, you showed me a picture of him.
Yeah, I used the word
gigantic
Flo.
kid. I love that. That is funny. All right, so Flo. That's the new
like the TV show.
Yeah, exactly. You remember that? You were way too young for that.
Dumb and Dumber reference right there.
Oh, yeah.
Then they reference Flo.
I actually remember watching Flo's Diners, the bad news. Oh, man, am I getting old.
All right, there's a lot going on in sports.
John Gross.
We always bring on John Gross to help us with. Next question.
Here we go.
Next question.
If I can find.
Just F-ball it.
That's what I'm trying to find. I found it! It's right next to this thing we call hockey. Would that be a hockey minute?
Harry Black has never heard a hockey minute.
I know, he had to podcast it the
other day. He's been here for months.
Tomorrow you get a hockey minute. It's Good Friday, though. I'm going to be painting all day.
You said it.
I know, I said it.
You already put it on tape there.
I will do a hockey minute tomorrow.
I guess
that is the promise.
Digital recording.
All right, here we go. Miles Bridges is returning to Michigan State. What is the biggest threat to Sparty in the Big Ten now? Is there one?
If Caleb Swanigan returns...
That would help.
Boy, that'd be good.
Yes, it would.
I mean, I think Swanigan's going to be a first-round pick. That'd be really juicy, though. To have two teams that good returning in the Big Ten. Minnesota is going to be a popular pick. They're good.
How good is Wisconsin going to be all of a sudden?
Probably not.
I mean, you lose...
I think this is the year if there's a year they don't finish in the top 4, it's this year.
If they do it this year...
It's amazing.
Without Showalter, without Koenig, without Hayes...
I mean, they get Hat back.
They get Hat back, and that's, I mean...
And they got a decent recruiting class I think, coming in.
They even lose... who was the kid off the bench? I don't know.
Vito Brown?
Vito Brown, thank you. That was in the dunk contest. So those are 4 key pieces to that team.
I mean, I can't go... If Michigan had Walton back... I'd probably go with them.
That would help. Maryland, if they get Trimble back.
Maryland, if they had Trimble back, I'd say absolutely they can contend. I think it's all Purdue if Swanigan comes back. Otherwise, Michigan State has everybody basically coming back from that team.
And I am absolutely fine with them running away with the Big Ten title with Miles Bridges there, as long as, because of that, Illinois gets Mark Smith. I am fine with Michigan State getting a title.
Because Illinois is not.
No.
I mean, Illinois is probably not finishing in the top half next year.
Yes.
Do you agree?
No, yeah, I do.
I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, they need so much length, athleticism, and they don't have a go-to scorer.
And I am not going to call it the last 4-year syndrome. I'm not going to get ultra excited about a transfer coming in and say, ooh, he could really help vault Illinois into this. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I do think guys like LaRon and JCL will make
I think Underwood will make them all better.
I do too.
Yeah.
but I don't think you're good enough to be top of the Big Ten.
Not
no,
this
or
Big
top
Ten.
half. No.
Next question.
All right. Besides Thunder Rockets, Jeremy, the best NBA first-round playoff matchup is Sixers. Oh, wait, no, they're not in it. Sixers
Bulls, Celtics. There are people projecting the Bulls to win that series.
Is that who the Bulls play, the Celtics? Yeah. I have not stared at a playoff matchup yet.
You know who I'm going to pick?
Can you beat the Celtics because they're young?
Matt Silic is going to love this.
Uh-oh.
The Clippers against Silic's Jazz.
Ooh.
I think the country should watch the Utah Jazz a little
Really?
bit.
Okay.
They're a great defensive team. Gordon Hayward is a phenomenal player. I think that matchup could be fun. I think the Warriors will kill the Blazers. Hawks Wizards doesn't do it for me. I mean, Thunder Rockets, though, the first round of the NBA playoffs, I'm an NBA playoffs guy. It's not that fun.
No.
Right? I mean, it should be a bunch of blowouts, but I mean, Thunder Rockets is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
2 MVP candidates in the first round, and 2 teams I think can get to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun. I also think that the Raptors-Bucks can be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Because Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh, yeah, I want to see this kid.
Phenomenal.
Isn't he like a 7-foot point guard?
6'11", ridiculous athletic, and he plays point guard.
I just thought of something for the kids in the other room, the interns. We need to do a list of tallest NBA players because I thought of Mark Eaton. When you said that, one of these days we're going to do a list of the tallest NBA players, starting with Manute Bol. Okay. I think he'd be the tallest.
Next question.
Juan, some around the NFL think the Bears will take a quarterback number 3. Should they?
No. I don't think so. I
mean,
think
if you
do
think
that.
Trubisky or Watson
is that good,
is going to be a top 12 quarterback in the league, you take it.
The problem with that, Jeremy, is that if you think that, and that's a big if, and you miss, now you've just thrown yourself down this path a few more years.
If you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter.
No.
The Houston Texans are showing you that.
Yep.
But you don't take a quarterback just for the sake of taking any quarterback.
That is
you better
correct.
be sure he can at least be a starter in the NFL.
That's correct.
And more likely a quality starter in the NFL. Most analysts don't think so. I still think there'll be 4 probably quarterbacks taken first round because some of these guys have talent.
Yeah.
They're just not Andrew Luck. They're not the top of the draft kind of guys. But I can understand if you take one of those quarterbacks, if you think they're a quality starter, over a Malik Hooker who you think can be great,
right?
Or a Jamal Adams you think can be great, or Jonathan Allen, because in the end, if you don't have a quarterback,
you're right.
It doesn't matter.
You're right. But to me, I would rather almost piece together a team and get it ready for when you get that shot of landing a free
Will
agent.
they have another shot? I would think next year they're going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they don't get another top 5 pick?
That's fair. And I think out of all those guys,
so I'm playing
Trubisky
devil's advocate because I don't love those guys.
Right.
I mean, I think Deshaun Watson would be great if we had like the 15th pick.
Right.
But if they don't take a guy in that first round, they're not going to get one.
Well, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. When's the NFL draft coming up?
2 weeks.
End of April.
From today, right?
Unbelievable.
Next question.
Juan, the Dallas Stars rehired Ken Hitchcock, your former coach.
That's amazing.
Will he be successful there?
Yes, he will be. Dallas has they've got what it takes to be good, and I think Ken Hitchcock is a good hockey coach. I mean, we all know that, right? That's not going out on a limb there. He's, third in the I think it's going to be neat that he's going to be able to jump into that. I think it's number 3 overall. He's one game, 1 win shy of that when the Blues fired him. So that'll be cool. He'll be able to do that in Dallas where he won a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I mean, I think Ken Hitchcock, I think he overdid his stay in St. Louis. And I think Mike Yeo is showing that he's got a better idea how to coach that team. But there's no doubt Ken Hitchcock can coach in the NHL. So I think he'll go to Dallas. And I think he'll do just fine.
Next question.
Well, the Raiders reportedly negotiating with Marshawn Lynch. If they were the same money, who would you rather have, Marshawn Lynch or Adrian Peterson?
This is weird that I'm saying it, but I want Pete. I want Adrian Peterson. I just think his high is higher than Marshawn Lynch. And it's interesting that Lynch is a guy that for my every year he's been in the NFL, I've doubted him. And every year he just went out and did exactly what you wanted a running back to do for your team to win. I think it's that I live in the age of fantasyism.
Yeah.
So when I look at Marshawn Lynch, I don't want him on my fantasy team. So I immediately think, I wouldn't want him on my team when all he does is go out and get hard yards.
If Lynch is 3/4 of the money.
Yes, I would go Lynch.
Okay.
Yes, I would go Lynch because of the injury factor with Adrian Peterson. But I'd love to have Adrian Peterson in that regard.
Next question.
All right, Jeremy, which surprise start are you buying in baseball? The Angels at 6-3, the Reds at 7-2, or the Arizona Diamondbacks at 7-3?
When Austin did his next question with baseball, I said, what team has the highest ceiling but the lowest floor, and I said the Arizona Diamondbacks.
You said Arizona, didn't you?
Because I think everything that could go wrong went wrong last year. Shelby was terrible. Zach Greinke was terrible. A.J. Pollock, one of the best outfielders in baseball, got hurt and out for the year. This is a talented team.
You do. You got Goldschmidt. You've got a lot of
Goldschmidt's an MVP candidate every year. That's a very talented team, and I think they can contend in that West. I also think the Rockies can contend in the West, and I don't think the Giants are as strong as they've been in a while.
No.
The Dodgers are going to be really good.
Okay.
But it wouldn't shock me if the Diamondbacks or the Rockies were able to sneak into a wild card, especially if the Cardinals and Pirates struggle.
Fair enough. I got one more for you on baseball, and I'll help you with it. Who is the most disappointing team in Major League Baseball so far? You got the 1-7 Blue Jays, the 2-8 Mariners, the 3-6 Cardinals, who now open a 3-game series in the Bronx against the Yankees, the 2-6 Royals, or the 3-5 Rangers.
Who are you taking?
I don't know yet. I don't know. I want to go Cardinals, but I'm not so sure that this is. Besides the Red Series, I'm not that.
It's a tough schedule.
I'm not that overwhelmed that they lost 2 of 3 to the Nats.
If you're the Blue Jays, you got to be.
I would say Toronto.
The worst offense in baseball.
Yeah, which
the Blue
is weird.
Jays.
Which is weird.
Tulo's terrible.
Where's Colby Rasmus when you need him?
Bautista's not very good.
No.
Even Encarnacion's struggling in Cleveland right now, so even if they would have kept him, it wouldn't have gone that well.
Even the Blue Jay factor is hurting them.
Russell Martin's been terrible.
Wow.
I mean, that team's built on offense. They got a solid rotation that I thought played at its peak last year. I don't know if they can repeat that, so that's a team that I know it's just 8 games, but these games matter.
They do.
And we're almost, a 16th of the way into the season.
Isn't that amazing?
And these games matter, and this is a really rough stretch to start the season, especially with an older offense.
And you said it. You've got veteran guys that are struggling. When you mentioned those names with Encarnacion, you've got Martin.
He's not
I'm sorry, he's gone
Bautista.
now. My bad. Bautista, Encarnacion, Tulo. Those are veterans.
Encarnacion's not there.
Did I just say that?
Encarnacion.
Oh.
Martin.
With Encarnacion.
Line.
Help! Bautista and Martin and Tulo. That's what I meant.
I mean, the Mariners, I know our boy Matt Loveless is upset with his Mariners after all the trades they made, but that was a team that I thought could be around 500, and I still think they can. The Royals are in this weird middle.
Right.
Where they're going to lose all those guys after this season, but they didn't add anything. And then the Rangers 3-5. That's not ridiculous.
Do you know you're having a bad day when Matt Loveless was watching his Mariners give up 5 runs or 7 runs in the 9th inning and lose the game instead of watching the Masters, which is one of the best. Now I'm sure he DVR'd it and was able to watch it, but when he was tweeting out about the Mariners, I tweeted at him. I'm like, dude, you're the only guy in America not watching the Masters right now. And he's like, sorry, I never get a chance to watch my Mariners.
I don't know if that's true. But
I don't know.
He is a hardcore Mariners.
He is huge. He's a
Loves
big Seattle
his
guy.
Seattle and Washington State Cougars.
That's so funny. Yeah. That's so funny. All right, that is next question. As always, we appreciate.
Next question.
You, John Gross. Thank you so much for that.
If you want to weigh in 359-2255, that's 217-359-2255.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane comfort specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
Hi, I'm Sam Banks, inviting you to the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club 28th Annual Steak and Burger Dinner at the Hilton Garden Inn, Thursday, April 27th. This year's keynote speaker is former Illini basketball great and current Big Ten Network basketball analyst Deion Thomas. Events like the Steak and Burger help kids have a safe place to come after school and find help with homework, participate in activities that encourage positive character and values, and spend time with a positive adult. Buy your tickets or sponsor a table. Call 355-KIDS or visit embgc.org.
Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Geico presents a voicemail from your friend, Washing Machine.
Hi, it's Washing Machine. It's about, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So, good news, bad news. First, I found your lost sock. Exciting. Also, I might have maybe flooded the whole basement. It's going to be pretty expensive. But hey, at least you got that sock.
Your washing machine won't pay for water damage. Luckily, one call to the Geico Insurance Agency makes it easy to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I am holding 4 tickets to WWE Live, which is April 15th. That's this Saturday night at the State Farm Center, 7:30. Coming up next hour, we're going to give you a chance to win 4 tickets to WWE Live. We've got the 3 interns coming up with a trivia question regarding wrestling. So we'll do that too. Next hour, you got a chance to win those tickets.
So the Chicago Bulls are in the playoffs.
Yeah, what do you think of this?
Meh.
I mean, it's not like it costs you, it's only like one spot in terms of the draft, right?
Well, a couple spots, most likely. Maybe one. But I mean, at the same time, it's just the Bulls are going to see this as a success.
Yeah, right. That's the biggest issue, isn't it?
Being an 8 seed is about the worst thing that can happen in the NBA. Jimmy Butler is phenomenal. He's the only reason the Bulls are in there. And I got to give credit to Fred Hoiberg. When they finally, when Wade got injured, it was the best thing for this team.
No, it was.
Because they could spread the floor out, play more his style. Nikola Mirotic had a great second half of the season towards the end of the year. And we'll probably talk with Cody Westerling coming up about the playoffs in this team. But it doesn't mean anything. They're going to, even if they beat Boston, which would be the best thing, because then Boston might up its offer for Jimmy Butler.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything in the long. Are you going to get a free agent because of it?
No.
Probably not.
The only thing it means is financial gain for the organization.
So good for them.
Yeah, that they'll get to host at least one game on the best of 5,
but if
maybe
the goal
2.
is winning championships, they seem farther away from it.
I agree with you. I totally agree. And I don't know. This seems like one of those how do you fix it situations.
You trade Jimmy Butler for something great, but it's got to be something great because he's a top 12 player in the NBA.
That's interesting. I know you're a big fan of Ryan Russillo, of course, and he knows his NBA as well as anybody. And he was talking about that the other day. They were talking about trading for a guy like Jimmy Butler. And he said, I always laugh when people say, well, but I don't know if you don't have anybody to surround him with. He's like, no, you worry about that later.
Yeah.
You get a guy like Jimmy Butler on your team. And the funny thing, if you turn it around, the Bulls have that guy. They have Jimmy Butler. So now it's like, okay, but how are you going to build? They have no clue on how to do it.
No other asset to add that other player.
No.
Right, Nikola Mirotic is going to be a free agent. They'll probably overpay him a little bit just because he had nice. I think he fits what Hoiberg wants, really well. He wants guys who could space it out and shoot threes. Nikola Mirotic is usually pretty good at that. He's a streaky player, but he's usually pretty good at that. But they have nothing else. I mean, the 15th pick in the draft,
right?
Denzel Valentine, I think, will be a good player.
Okay.
Bobby Portis is probably a bench player.
Yeah.
right? Like, what else? Campaign looked terrible.
Ugh.
So what else are you building around? It's going to be free agency because you lose Rondo and you lose Wade most likely this offseason, unless Wade wants to opt in and just make some money and stay in Chicago.
Right.
Which, whatever. But it's just like there's free agency money, but you're not going to add some stud. I mean, the Bulls have been going after these kind of guys forever.
Yeah.
And they've struck out. Wade's at the twilight of his career and got angry with Pat Riley. Mm-hmm. That's why he came to the Bulls.
Isn't that unbelievable?
And I got it for the Bulls. They just they weren't going to do anything much this year anyway. They were going to be this kind of 8 to 9 to 10 seed because of Jimmy Butler.
And then he got angry with the Bulls. Then Dwayne got angry with the Bulls and the way they were playing, or he got angry with the other players.
Well, because no, he realized what he signed up for.
Yeah.
That this organization screwed up.
Exactly. Are there any notable free agents that are going to be good free agents next year? Do you have any idea? Have you even thought ahead to say, all right, is a Chris Paul available? What would you need? What would the Bulls need around?
They need score.
They need scores.
Somebody who can score. I mean, Gordon Hayward's going to be a free agent. Blake Griffin could be a free agent. Chris Paul could be a free agent.
But they're not going to.
You're not going to get those guys.
No.
Paul Millsap.
Yeah.
Then you're going down to like Serge Ibaka. George Hill might be a realistic guy who would fit what they want, and you'd pay him a lot of money. George Hill and Jimmy Butler aren't getting you a title.
Nope.
So the best thing would be the Celtics to package a lot of those picks, and then you're bad for a while, and you can get multiple high draft picks and potential stars. That's painful, though. And I get how painful it is. The Bulls have gone through it before.
Yep.
But I love Jimmy Butler. I love watching him. I love how he plays. I think he's a really good teammate and all those things. But it's just you have nothing else there. And it's the Bulls' fault because they're bad drafters. They're bad free agency people.
You guys say it's a coincidence. I say it's ironic that the Celtics and Bulls now will play in the first round. It'd be interesting that maybe those two could be a trade partner down the road. I mean, the Celtics, they know all about Jimmy Butler. Yeah. They don't need to see Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. But it would be interesting. They've got firsthand view now of a guy that they could have and see how he fits on this team next year.
And they'll have a top 4 pick in a loaded draft.
Wow.
And multiple other picks.
Okay.
I totally get it from the Bulls' perspective, though. They got Jimmy on a great deal.
Right.
It's kind of like Jose Quintana or Chris Sale.
That's exactly right.
You don't trade him unless you're getting a ton. Yep. Because, like you said, you give up those pieces for a suit. There's only a couple, 12 to 15 guys that are true stars in this league.
No doubt.
And Jimmy Butler is one of them.
Can the Bulls beat the Celtics? You said going into it
that a lot of people. I think they'll win a game or two. Okay. I think they can win some games because Jimmy Butler is really good.
Right.
But the Celtics are so deep.
Yeah.
And they got the better coach.
Okay.
I mean, Brad Stevens is great.
So the Celtics are number 1, Bulls are the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so LeBron and the Cavs are number 2 seed in the East. Do the Celtics have any chance to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's going to be Cleveland.
Who does LeBron James play for?
Right.
Yeah, that team's going to win the East.
Oh, and by the way, you got Kevin Love and Kyrie.
I mean, the Celtics are a fun team. Mm-hmm. It's a good team. They play team basketball. They don't have LeBron James.
No, they don't.
They don't have Kyrie Irving, right?
That makes
they don't even have
all
Kevin
the
Love.
difference
I mean,
in the
Isaiah
world.
Thomas, fun player, scores a bunch of points. The rest of that team plays great defense, and they're tough and physical. But we've seen what LeBron does, and that's why the seeding doesn't matter. The Heat did the same thing. The 2 seed doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter what they do in the East.
I have watched enough of the Warriors. I've watched enough of the Cavs. Who is another team, East or West, preferably West, that I could latch onto and watch games and really enjoy them in the playoffs? Is it San Antonio? Although they're not that exciting.
I think Houston.
Okay.
I mean, Houston plays that wide open style. All threes are layups.
I can watch the bearded man.
Yeah, James Harden's unbelievable. I think Utah's a fun young team.
Okay.
But I think watch that Houston-Oklahoma City series.
Okay, that would be fun.
If you want to have entertaining, great basketball
Russ and Harden,
2 future Hall of Famers, that's a fun series.
Is it a no-brainer Russell Westbrook MVP?
No, I think Harden deserves it. I think Kawhi deserves it. I think LeBron deserves it. I think all of them deserve it.
This could be interesting as that comes out. All right, we are going to be roasted next hour by Dan Hartlib, Illini baseball coach. There's so many reasons why that he is just going to I may not even just be in here during the interview. I may let you just handle it.
Oh, you're going to let me take the brunt?
Yes,
okay.
That might be the
See
case.
How it goes.
Your calls as well, 359-2255, and text. It is the Tay and J Show.
150 years. Years full of success and defeat, research and setbacks, learning and teaching. The University of Illinois has transformed in numerous ways over the last 150 years, and we want to celebrate. Game Day Spirit Fan Stores is now offering 150th apparel in stores and online. These are available in limited quantities, so visit one of their stores today on Green Street or South Neal in Champaign, or head to GameDaySpirit.com anytime to get your polo, quarter zip, or t-shirts now. Go Illini!
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Duracon from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com. It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
Field & Stream invites you to join us this Saturday, April 15th, for our biggest firearm and ammunition sale of the season. At this year's Lock and Load shooting event, you'll find savings of up to $200 on top firearm brands. Be one of the first 100 adults in line and receive a free Field & Stream mystery gift card valued from $10 to $100. Live prize drawings will take place every hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See store for official rules. Start a new tradition Saturday, April 15th. Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Another successful job. We're very, very proud of our military.
President Trump, after U.S. forces in Afghanistan struck what's described as an ISIS tunnel complex with the largest non-nuclear weapon in our military arsenal. It's packed with almost 11 tons of explosives. Officials say this was not in retaliation for the death of a Green Beret who was killed last week in the area where the bomb was dropped.
The Pentagon is pushing back hard on that. They say it's merely a coincidence. Of course, they are still mourning the loss of that Green Beret from the 7th Group. Mark DeAlenkar is the staff sergeant who was from Edgewood, Maryland, not far from where we are right now. He was deployed from Eglin Air Force Base, which ironically in 2003 is where this Moab bomb was first tested.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin, a Chicago alderman, says city-employed airport security officers shouldn't be doing the dirty work for the Friendly Skies airline. A city council committee is questioning officials about the passenger who was dragged off a United flight at O'Hare. That passenger may be taking the airline to court.
Dr. Dow's attorneys basically laid out the groundwork for their potential lawsuit, saying United Airlines broke the law when it used unreasonable force to remove Dr. David Dow, who they say is a 69-year-old man who was not posing a physical threat at the time. Dr. David Dow's attorneys also say he now represents all mistreated airline passengers moving forward.
Fox's Matt Finn. General Motors is planning to add more than 1,000 jobs in California over 5 years at its cruise automation unit. The largest U.S. automaker is putting more money and resources into its self-driving efforts after receiving $8 million in state tax credits. Stocks take a tumble, the Dow falling 138 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, This family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $70 rebate by mail on 4 select tires, plus another $70 rebate when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Inspectors found dangerous conditions at the VA hospital in Washington, D.C.
They saw that out of 25 sterile storage areas, 18 were dirty. They also noticed that on one visit to the VA hospital, they ran out of blood lines to treat dialysis patients. An operating room ran out of vascular patches, which means no open vascular surgeries that day. And an entire floor didn't have the tubes that go into a patient's nostrils to give them oxygen, called nasal cannulas. The operating room was also out of the critical piece of equipment that prevents clots from forming during surgery, called a sequential compression device.
Fox's Peter Ducey. A report finds patient safety at that hospital has been compromised nearly 200 times over the last 3 years. The chairman of the Pittsburgh Steelers has passed away at the age of 84. Dan Rooney helped develop NFL rules for minority hiring. Rocky is taking on Warner Brothers in court.
Sylvester Stallone is suing one of Hollywood's biggest studios, alleging they hid millions of dollars in profits. The suit filed by Rogue Marble Productions, Stallone's company, against Warner Brothers claims bad accounting practices and fraud. In it, the actor says that the studio owes him millions for allegedly covering up profits from his film, saying he was supposed to collect a 15% profit participation of the gross after Demolition Man generated $125 million.
You'll give you more, bro.
He received a letter stating the movie was more than $66 million in debt, but when challenged, the lawsuit said the studio sent Stallone a check for more than $2 million several years later. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
The commander of the International Space Station is thrilled to get an extra 3 months off the planet. Peggy Whitson is 5 months into her mission and says she's not even close to being bored. But she does miss cooking and is afraid there may not be enough chocolate left for Easter. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
You a chocolate guy for Easter? Or jelly beans?
Chocolate.
Yeah, I think I am too. I'm not a jelly bean kind of guy.
Peeps are terrible.
Oh.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, thunderstorms could start about 9 o'clock, a low of 54. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, high 75, a low of 62. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 80, a low of 61. Right now, partly cloudy, 78 in Champaign-Urbana.
What am I playing that for?
Because you want to?
It's not Friday. We are going to have a show tomorrow.
Friday?
Yes. I literally just fooled myself into thinking today was Friday. We will have a show tomorrow. Hey, I think Mike Carpenter's mom
is texting
the show, and we're going to
get
to drive time here, but this is a text we just got on the Chief Bauer text line. It says, "Is there any way Mike can do his show from his cell phone tomorrow? He has a doctor's appointment at 9:30 and needs to make. Let us know. Thank you."
Is that Mike Ditka?
That might be Mike Ditka.
Or is there another Mike that calls in the Stevie J Show?
I'm thinking this is Mike's mom asking if he can do the show.
Is there somebody that's going to come in studio at Monday?
You know what? Maybe that's the case.
Tomorrow?
Well, there you go. We'll pass that along to Stevie and Diane in case that's for them, because it's not for us, I don't think. Mike's not coming on our show. I don't think any Mike, especially Mike Carpenter, who's going to be gone again tomorrow. Is he gone every day? I think he's gone every Friday.
He does the 200 level, which will be on tonight.
Oh, that's right.
At 6 o'clock.
He and Steve Breitweiser. All right, it's drive time.
It is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Well, on today, there's a recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
Well, Jeremy Werner, Jake Allen, holy jumping! Jake Allen, 51 saves last night as the St. Louis Blues struck first in their series with the Minnesota Wild. They went 2-1 in overtime. The Wild actually tied the game with about 20 seconds, 12 seconds, something like that left in regulation. But the Blues get a goal from Joel Edmondson, who was at the right place at the right time after Vladimir Tarasenko had done some strong work with the puck to get it in front of the net. So the Blues get it done, and Jake Allen, 51 saves. Now, Jeremy, I watched this game. I didn't think coming into the playoffs that the Blues were going to do anything magnificent. If Jake Allen continues to play like that, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But the Blues are just so short-handed, even short-handed when their full roster is there, but without Stasny, without Fabry, I think it's going to be hard for the Blues to score goals. And if you can't score goals, you're not going to win much. But it was fun. As a Blues fan, it's fun to get up on that, and now you've got home ice advantage back. And if you win Game 2, you're in really good shape against Minnesota.
I mean, we've seen it before. The goalie gets really hot, whether it's Jake Allen. I remember Dominik Hasek got really hot, took a terrible Sabres team to the Stanley Cup final. So,
good call.
They're going to need that. But that's been that's what they've been doing the last couple months, right?
That's the thing, right?
Ever since Mike Yowen got nice boo birds last night in Minnesota where he used to coach.
He totally did.
But that gives some intrigue to this series because I think most people came in saying, the Blues have been a nice story, but the Wild are more talented. And I still expect the Wild to win with Parise and all those guys they got. But, I mean, this is a good start.
Yes, it was.
Even if it's fluky, that's hockey. That's what makes the hockey playoffs awesome.
And that's what's great about it. I had 3 females text me last night saying, Zach Parise's hot. I'm like, really? Really? Mind your own business.
Sharp or Parise?
I don't know. They liked Parise, but I didn't ask them if they text back tonight.
Look up Patrick Sharp.
That's what we'll do. I'll ask that question.
We also broke down the Illini coaching staff. Basketball has set their staff. Ron Chin Coleman, the last assistant, also add Stephen Gentry as the assistant to the head coach's support staff role.
I love how that was actually the bigger news, but I started drive time off with the Blues winning 2-1.
That's how we started the show, though. That was a big game last night.
It was a big game. But now Ron Coleman, Chin Coleman is in place. And I asked you, and for those that weren't listening, we've heard enough negative news surrounding Illinois lately. So I asked Jeremy, give me a reason to be positive about, obviously there's positives behind these hires, but give me 3 great reasons why.
3?
Or no. A reason for each one of them. So 3 reasons why Chin, Coleman, Antigua, and Walker are really solid hires for Illinois.
Antigua's a talent getter, a proven talent getter. That was the splash hire of this assistant staff, which is based on recruiting. It's obvious that Underwood is really confident in his coaching, and I think Stephen Gentry is a hire. Really helps him with that. Patrick Schulte is familiar with him as well, the video guy for him. So he's got people around him that know his system really, really well, but he gets assistants who can recruit. And you need talent.
That's huge.
And Jamal Walker, I know this has been a rough month for him, or the last couple of weeks with Jeremiah Tillman. But this guy who knows the Illinois job, he's an improvement over himself 5 years ago because he's familiar with it. He does have some connection to the St. Louis area. Hopefully he can get Mark Smith. Hopefully he can get E.J. Liddell. Those would be big gets, and maybe even bigger long-term than Jeremiah Tillman would be for 2 years or whatever it would be. So I think that's a big one. And then Chin Coleman, a lot of people I talk to think Paris Parham was even more connected in Chicago. But Chin helps you get in the door, and it's about Underwood closing it. Now, it's been maybe a rough start for Underwood since he didn't talk to anybody up there for 3 weeks.
He didn't reach out.
But the fact that that's a huge issue kind of shows that it's tough up there.
It is.
But Chin should open those doors and make sure that those people at least are receptive to Illinois early. He recruited Ayo Dosunmu.
That's big, isn't it?
He's very familiar with Nick Irvin, with the Mac Irvin Fire. He coached them for 6 years, so he's familiar with the right people up there. It's just a question of, can Illinois and Underwood sell it? They're not going to win a lot of these battles against Duke and Kansas.
No, you're not. You're not.
It's just not.
Nope.
But can you get Dosunmu? Can you get a kid like that? That's the first big test because Chicago's down right now outside of him. but it's going to be back at some point.
Sure.
And you hope Chin Coleman can open those doors. But this is an improvement over the last staff when it comes to recruiting.
I don't know how many, when Chin Coleman was the coach at AAU with Mac Irvin Fire, I'm not sure how many of those guys came to Illinois. But I think it'd be a fair question to him as to why maybe more kids from that program are not coming to Illinois.
They were then. I mean, you think of it, Jeremy Richmond. Myers Leonard played for them.
Okay.
Mike Shaw played for them.
Oh, well then good call.
I mean, Illinois has been able to get some good Chicago kids. They haven't been able to get Jabari or Jaleel Okafor or Cliff Alexander.
The top guys.
The guy you need to get from now on is the Charlie Moore.
Yes.
Right? And you need to be able to get that kid.
Yep.
And Illinois wasn't able to close the deal on him.
Is he the next level or is he Charlie Moore level?
He's big. He's not Jaleel.
Okay.
He's not that
He's kind of
level.
in between those guys, maybe.
But he's a big time player.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to compare him to like a Frank Williams, possibly.
Got it.
I don't know if he had as good of a junior year as Frank Williams had.
Right.
But I mean, he's a really, really good immediate impact.
Somebody I would really like on the University of Illinois. Hey, the Bulls clinched the playoffs.
Yay. Whatever.
Hey, the Cubs got their rings.
Good for them. They took their series against the Dodgers.
Yeah, they did. They won 4-0
They're just going to win series and win 100 games.
Yes, they are. That's what you do.
The Cardinals get off the schneid. Mike Leake, Cy Young candidate.
Who said he wasn't awesome?
Me, because he's not. 4.7 ERA last year.
Hey, we had a great visit with Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach, and he told us what Liddyville is, and I tweeted it out, and Thad Ward liked it.
Okay,
so I've made it.
I love that interview. I thought that was awesome. That was a fun time with Thad. Only his mother and his wife call him Thaddeus.
That was a great question.
Which, by the way, Thaddeus spelled with an A before the E.
Ooh. He kind of did it a little, or his mom did it a little different there.
So
I like that.
He said only they call him Thaddeus. That he doesn't get angry if somebody else calls him Thaddeus, but it's usually kind of like your middle name.
He would prefer that.
But Liddyville comes from It's Lit.
Okay.
And he said he loves Champaign-Urbana, thinks it's a really happening community.
Got it.
And
got Lil Wayne in
Lil
concert
Wayne tonight. It's a really happening show.
Would I know a Lil Wayne song? I would. Harry says yes.
I don't think I can name one off the top of my head.
Harry's like real confident. He goes yes. Then he goes, well, maybe.
Didn't he do Lollipop back in the day?
Wait, back in the 50s?
Yeah. No.
Lollipop, oh. Not that one.
Lick you like a lollipop.
Oh, I remember that one. I remember. Okay, I do remember a
That was
Lil
like
Wayne.
back when I was in college.
Thad Ward, though, talked about how he loves recruiting. And that's the one thing that came out to me in that interview, Jeremy, is that you have to love recruiting to do it. And guys can tell you that they enjoy recruiting, but some of them really don't. I think Thad Ward actually really enjoys recruiting.
And he's really good at it.
Yes.
He was brought on, I thought, and he said he thought, to be the Chicago guy.
Yeah.
But Lovey put him in Florida because Thad played high school or college football down in Florida. And I think he's from Florida as well.
Okay.
But he also threw him in St. Louis.
Okay.
And Thad's been great there.
Okay.
He's really gotten in on some big recruits there, and there's a bunch of talent in that city right now. So especially 2018, 19, and 20, there's a lot of talent. They were able to get Larry Boyd last year, which was a big get for them. Tony Adams, they beat Mizzou for him. They haven't been able to get a lot of talent out of St. Louis, and Thad's a big reason for it. But he thinks this class, they should do better. They're off to a rockier start.
Okay.
They've missed on some of their top targets, but there's still a lot of talent out there. I mentioned today they offered a local kid, Tuscola offensive lineman Hunter Woodard, a big kid.
Good for him.
He's Oklahoma State and Syracuse offer, and if there's a kid that's got Power 5 potential in your backyard,
yes, you want to get him.
In Tuscola,
right?
You need to get him.
You want to get him.
And I think they have a really good chance after talking to him. He said that offer was really huge. His family is full of Illini fans, so I think they'll probably get that kid. But yeah, it was a fun talk with Thad, talking about what these recruiting trips are like. He goes down to Florida, Lon, but doesn't get a lot of beach time.
No, I asked him, why don't you meet with a recruit or a coach just on the beach? Just meet me down on the beach. So he's like, I'm going to try that, Lon. So I think Thad Ward is going to try that. We'll see how it works, if it works with inning. I did ask him, though, about being late, starting late last year, and he mentioned, he said, we didn't even have Larry Boyd's number. And so that's what you mean by starting late in this process. And now I asked him, are you caught up? And he said, no, we're not caught up. And he said, I don't know if you ever feel like you're caught up. Yeah. But it was a great interview with Thad Ward. Make sure to podcast that.
And Miles Bridges coming back to Michigan State. Could be good for Illinois in the race for Mark Smith there. That's Drive Time presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
Okay, I'm going to do something risky right now.
Uh-oh.
We have 4 tickets to WWE Wrestling at Champaign. Oh, they even hashtag it. Hashtag WWE Champaign. I like that. We are just a hashtag society right now. Liddyville and WWE Champaign. I wonder if there's a hashtag Lil Wayne. Probably. All right, so wrestling this Saturday night, the interns just sent me. Now, this is why I'm saying I'm taking a risk here. So if this is wrong, you can blame the interns. But we're going to have you call in at 359-2255. But hold on. You're going to have to answer a question that you need to hear first. 217-359-2255. I want to know who has the highest win percentage in the WWE. This is actually
right
a stat. Over the years.
All time.
I'm sorry, all time. I'm glad you corrected that. The all-time highest win percentage in WWE history. If you know that wrestler and you're the first to call at 217-359-2255, you will win 4 tickets to WWE Live in Champaign. Dan Hartlib, Illini baseball coach, joins us next. It is the Tay and J Show.
TN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
This Raiders to Vegas thing has always seemed rushed, disorganized, otherwise discombobulated. Owner Mark Davis wants out of Oakland because there's no suitable stadium there. And while that's true, his desire to get out of Oakland seems to pale in comparison to his desire to just get into Vegas. They had funding, then they didn't, then they do again, but there aren't any stadium design plans, no lease, just what seemed like a million loose ends. Well, today I read what legendary Raider head coach John Madden said, and it hit me again. Man, this stinks for Raider fans. But something else he said struck me too. Quote, I would hate to be a coach and take a team in there. I would hate to have my team in Las Vegas on Saturday night before the game. Every team has a bottom 10, end quote. Sure, I realize the dangers Vegas presents. We all do. But I'd never heard a coach reference a bottom 10. It means the 10 players a team identifies as presenting the biggest risk because of behavior and lack of discipline. Imagine the bottom 10 of a visiting team in Vegas. And then imagine the bottom 10 of the Raiders themselves, who will spend months there, not just 2 to 3 nights a year. Oh, this should be fun. In 60 seconds, I hope you're paying attention.
Colonel Sanders here with a doozy of a joke. So, a king, a clown, and a redhead walk into a restaurant. What do they order? Duh. Their favorite KFC $5 Phillips, of course, because they're hungry. Get it? And because only the Colonel offers 5 delicious hand-prepared meals for just $5. Like the 2-piece chicken KFC $5 Phillip or the Tenders KFC $5 Phillip. You know, besides fried chicken, comedy has always been my true passion. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Limited time offer at participating KFCs. Tax extra.
AutoZone presents Peak Performance. Maximizing fuel economy, engine life, and overall performance doesn't take a lot. Thanks to fuel treatment and fluids from AutoZone. And right now, you can get a 5.25-ounce bottle of Lucas Fuel System treatment for only $4.99. So visit your local AutoZone. With over 5,000 locations, the right supplies and good advice are just around the corner. Let's get you what you need. See store for restrictions and details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
I love the NBA playoffs, but often there's very little drama. Lower-seeded upsets don't happen much, and home court really matters. Home ice? And not so much. Now, that's not just a knee-jerk reaction from last night. It's a proven fact, though last night did help prove it. 5 games started off the Stanley Cup playoffs, and 4 road teams won. Only Sid the Kid's Pens held serve at home. Why is this great? Because in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you have an incredible level of the unknown. Watch the NBA, you don't have that in the playoffs. Get this. Since the NHL lockout 12 years ago, road teams have won 52% of Game 7s in the playoffs. I say this just to let you know. You might not love pucks, but you likely do love sporting drama. You ought to watch a little hockey. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noka.
Partner with Busey for Purpose and Progress during National Volunteer Month this April. From feeding the hungry to helping the homeless, our associates volunteer their time and talents during our annual initiative, Community Promise Month. With countless hours served and millions donated, we look forward to increasing our impact each year. Join our cause. Visit Busey.com to learn more today. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC.
Look around. Spring is everywhere. Now it can also be anywhere with 10-inch fern hanging baskets from the Home Depot. A special buy at just $9.88. Ferns add a fresh touch of spring wherever they go, and they go anywhere. Inside by the bookcase, outside on the porch, from the study to the staircase. Get a fresh take on spring with 10-inch fern hanging baskets just $9.88 only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Selection varies by store while supplies last.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
What am I hearing and why am I hearing it?
Oh no, that's the Ultimate Warriors music. Oh! Here he comes. Running on the stage.
Baby. Is he the guy that tied like the yarn things around his... Yeah, that's him!
Jake in Champaign got the answer right. Highest winning percentage, I didn't know this was a thing in wrestling, was the Ultimate Warrior, his short career.
88% winning percentage.
People hated wrestling him.
Yeah?
Yeah, Bret Hart, his autobiography.
Just because he's so...
He had no technical knowledge.
Oh,
he hurt
really?
people.
Oh, really?
He's a steroided freak.
Wow.
That nobody liked, but he was really entertaining.
Okay.
Him and Hogan had that battle in WrestleMania 6.
Isn't that funny? Man, I just see this is the years that I missed wrestling.
Oh, that was
I feel
the
bad.
Best.
I feel
Mid
bad.
to late 80s.
Dang it. I need to go back and maybe check out some of those highlights.
There's
I'm going to do
tapes.
that.
I think we got tapes at my mom's house.
We have tapes.
Go back and watch the VHS.
I'll have to find a VHS player, but if you can bring those in, I'd love to do that.
Stop making those.
It'd be a nice little night for me. Nice little night after I visit Home Depot.
524, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Save up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through the end of the month. Just email mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Lovie Smith had some key injury updates yesterday, including wide receiver Mikey Dudek.
Mike is totally cleared. He won't go through any contact work until training camp, but he's running, doing everything right now. Don't see any signs of anything, wrong with, the ACL surgery that he had. See that same quickness that I've heard about, but haven't been able to see yet. So both guys are right where they need to be.
Lovie also said Chase Crouch is on schedule in his recovery from shoulder surgery, and he said that Chase is the team's starting quarterback and unquestioned leader.
Oh, that's cool.
Jake Allen, 51 saves. He saved the day yesterday for the Blues. Beat the Wild 2-1 in overtime in Game 1. Tonight, the top-seeded Blackhawks drop the puck on their postseason against the Predators at 7 o'clock. Cubs take the series against the Dodgers 4-0. Addison Russell and Anthony Rizzo both homered in that one. Miles Bridges returning to Michigan State for his sophomore season, despite most projecting him as a top 20 draft pick. The Bulls' postseason drought will only last one season. The Bulls beat the Nets last night. They clinched the 8th seed. They'll play top seed Celtics. The Pacers also won last night to clinch the 7th seed and a first-round date with the defending champion Cavaliers. Brad Underwood's first Illini coaching staff is finalized. UIC assistant Ronald Chin-Coleman announced yesterday he'll join Orlando Antigua and Jamal Walker on the assistant coaching staff. And Tuscola offensive lineman Hunter Woodard offered by Illinois today during a visit.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. Dan Hartlib will be joining us shortly. He's going to call in here, Illini baseball coach. So we'll talk to Coach Hartlib. We'll take our whatever. I mean, he's going to rip us. Yeah, our punishment.
So somebody must be watching on YouTube. They see this massive container of goldfish.
My dad, Neil Tay, was the ultimate. Oh,
Ultimate warrior of fish, goldfish.
Yes, of goldfish. We always, no kidding, we always had goldfish around the house. And now when I go up to my brother's condo in Chicago, there is at least that big of goldfish sitting around.
I mean, when we are doing a radio show for 3 hours, you got to keep the energy up, right?
Do. Yes,
so
you do.
we always have snacks.
Yep.
I always try to keep the peanut stash up.
In fact, I bought one the other day, so I've got it at the house, so I'll bring that in.
So we usually have peanuts.
I have sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
And
that's a nice little Tupperware container.
Yeah, right? That's kind of an up-to-date
that
Tupperware.
Like, that's not like one I'd usually find.
I must have stole that from somebody. And then Cheez-Its. I got Cheez-Its.
What do you prefer, Cheez-Its or Goldfish?
I'm not a Cheez-It guy. It's a blowout. Goldfish by far.
Let's get the interns in on this.
Cheez-It. Actually, Tyler, in memory of Tyler, although he's still fine.
Yeah, you didn't have a Cheez-It until like last week.
Never had a Cheez-It, but he brought in, these are the originals. He brought in some kind of fancy one.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Flavored
good.
One.
So I actually went to the gas station. I was in the gas station, picked up a dew one day.
In memory of Tyler.
Yep, and I picked up some Cheez-Its, and this is like 3 weeks later, I'm still eating them. So I don't know.
We had the Tyler Knight Memorial basketball hoop, and you did that in memoriam
of Cheez
of Tyler.
Yep,
even though he's alive and fine.
Right. As far as we know, he is doing absolutely fine.
Harry Black, Cheez-Its or Goldfish?
Cheez-Its, and what you need to do is you need to get one of the box of the double-sized Cheez-Its.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you like Cheez-Its better than Goldfish?
I can see it. A little crunchier.
I feel like
Goldfish.
Goldfish.
A little more salt to it.
Yeah.
I feel the thing about Goldfish is if you eat them too slowly, they turn into mush in your mouth.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then don't eat it slow.
And Cheez-Its, I'm getting all technical here. They're just salty enough so that they're just crumbly enough and they never get mushy.
Okay, that's fair because they are salty. I like that. I feel like
Daniel King, you going Cheez-Its?
I feel like this is going to be an age issue. I think Goldfish is the old person treat.
I'm taking Cheez-Its and the
Come
salt.
on, give me one of those
the
Cheez-Its.
salt's the thing, and also the variety that you get with Cheez-Its, like the 4 cheese and the party mixes.
Well, you can get that with
all the different
Goldfish.
things that they can bind Cheez-Its with. The only really special thing that the Goldfish has is flavor blasted, and while that's good, not as good as the Cheez-Its.
Okay, that's fair. Because on Goldfish, you can actually get the one that has all the different colors of Goldfish, but they all taste the same. All right,
Harry's so it's 2-1 Cheez-Its.
This is an age thing.
Jack, what you got?
It's going to be a clean sweep for the interns.
Yeah.
I got to go with the Cheez-Its.
You know, I just tried it. I just did a taste test of the
I like
Cheez-It.
Goldfish. They're good, but I got to go with Cheez-Its.
Okay, all right.
I just tried the Cheez-It. I think what it has going for it is texture.
It does. It does.
Like the Goldfish is just smooth.
Right.
The Cheez-Its has like ridges to it.
I agree.
So it gives it a little bit of texture while you're eating. But basically, they are the same thing.
They're the same thing.
It's just about texture, and I think the Cheez-Its are a little saltier.
You know what? They are, because it actually, on the picture, it actually shows salt on there. So, all right, 359-2255. Light them up. Text line.
We could put a poll question out there.
Yeah,
as well.
Cheez-It or Goldfish. We want to know from you. All right, Dan Hartlib's going to be calling in soon, Illini baseball coach, as he is what they actually won a game against Michigan, which is good. I don't mean to say it like
won
that,
too.
But they should have won too. They were up big in game one, up like 7 runs, and lost that game.
Yeah, and they're making a change to their rotation. We'll ask him about. 2 freshmen will be starting this week against Northwestern as they host them. But they got off to a really bad start. They were 6-16 to start, but they've won 6 of their last 8.
Okay,
so something's going a little right now.
That's good for this team, because I know we had Dan on, we had Coach on earlier this year. It's a younger team. So we will kind of, with young teams, you got to kind of fight through it. So we'll hopefully talk to Dan here pretty soon on that. The Cubbies get their rings yesterday. And the banner raising, you know me, I hate the Cubs. I don't like Cubs fans. I mean, I like them, but when they're a Cubs fan, I don't like them for that 3 hours. But I saw on Facebook, I have something to throw out. And this is a rip on both Cubs and Cardinals. Can I do this here in a minute?
Sure.
I want to say this first, though. It was cool to read the replies from Cubs fans when the banner went up and when the rings. I think that's cool. It's pure emotion. I read from a lot of my friends on Facebook and Twitter. They were crying, and I've been there, done that.
Yep.
And I think that's awesome that they were able to experience that with the banner raising and such. Now, can I bring up my frustration with Cubs and Cardinals fans right now?
Yes.
Baseball is a 162-game season. 162 games. This is my fault. I don't have to be on Facebook. I don't have to be on Twitter. I do not need to hear that the Cardinals won game number 11 of a season, or that the Cubs won game number 11 of the season, or game number 41, or game number 68. I don't need to hear that every day.
If it's a series against each other.
That is absolutely fine. In fact, Katie bar the doors on that one. You can rip on Cardinals fans. Cardinals fans rip on Cubs fans. But when you're playing the Florida Marlins in game 48 of the season, and you have to get on there and explain how the Cardinals beat the Marlins or the Cubs beat the Marlins, it's really enough. It's almost bugging me more than the political. And it really is bugging me. And I know
it actually might be more heated than the political.
And I know it's a lawn issue. I can just not get on Facebook. I cannot get on Twitter. That'd be my issue. But please, people, I don't need to know. Here's the other thing. At 8:30 at night, I don't need to look on Facebook and know that this person is watching the Cubs and the Dodgers or the Cardinals and the Reds. Yeah, I don't need to know that.
I use the check-in thing like when I'm on vacation.
Yeah,
just
that's
to show
fine.
I'm on vacation. You're not.
Exactly.
But yeah, like they check in at everything.
Yeah, and it's 2-0 Cardinals. Bob is watching the Cardinals. I'm like, that's great, Bob.
I usually keep the Twitter for the sports stuff.
Agree.
And the work stuff. And then Facebook is basically now just torn pictures.
Right, which I love. I love every second of it.
But I used to make fun of people. I used to make fun of like,
I know.
God, you just keep posting baby pic. What is up with this? It's like, this is annoying. And then I become a dad and I'm like, get it.
I totally get it.
I get it because, well, the reason I do it is one, you're really proud of your kid or whatever.
Well, no doubt.
We all think our kid's the greatest in the world. But I probably don't because he's a little brat sometimes.
It's already starting to slide in a little bit.
No, he's teething now.
I know.
And it's cute, and I'll miss it later.
Yeah.
But he's become high maintenance.
Oh, believe me, you're not going
to. So I have to hold him every 10 minutes. He had a couple weeks there where he would just go around, didn't care about me, and I could get some stuff done, and he'd be happy, and it was kind of nice. And then we play together. Now it's like he's good for 5 minutes, smiling, and all of a sudden, terrible.
Think about the pain in your mouth, though.
I know.
Of a tooth coming through.
I know.
But I'm with you, and you'll never feel bad complaining about kids in front of me because I complain about them all the time. I still do at the age of 17. Lucas broke his tennis racket.
But I totally get it because my whole family's like, we need more pictures, Jeremy. They want more pictures.
Yes.
Because they don't get to see them all the time.
I tried to get my mom to join Facebook so she could get pictures of Andrew and Lucas, but she won't. She doesn't want to do it. Well, I don't want to become friends with everybody, and I'm like, Mom, you don't have to.
She's probably smart to stay
away
from
that's probably true. It's probably true.
I mean, it's really ruined high school reunions because, hey, I see you're up to this. Yeah, I am. That's what I am doing right now.
I've never thought of that.
Oh, like I went to my high school reunion. I'm like, hey, you're doing this, right? I guess it gives you like something to talk about. Like,
right.
You know about them. It's not the awkward. Like you can just kind of hang out a little bit instead of catching up with everybody.
Instead of spending 5 minutes with each person going, now where are you at?
What are you doing?
You're in Utah?
Oh, yeah, I know that because I saw it on Facebook.
Exactly. That is funny. I've never thought of that. I really honestly had never thought of that. But yeah, I don't know. So I apologize to everybody out there that does this on a daily basis, but I'm just tired. I'm just tired of the check-ins with the Cardinals and the Cubs every day. Just let it go.
I like that you're fired up about that.
Just let it go. Try it for a week, people. See if you can go a week without posting that the Cardinals won or the Cubs won. I think everybody will be fine. We'll all be able to find the scores. There's other outlets that I can go. I don't need 500 of my friends to tell me the Cubs won or that the Cardinals won.
Yeah, I get it with like the Bears.
Yeah.
Because that's like a weekly thing, like an NFL thing. But yeah, even NBA or NHL.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Unless you're at the game.
Right. Or if you're the St. Louis Blues or the Chicago Blackhawks tweeting out that the Blues won tonight. Then I totally get that. But I don't need to know from my neighbor, Don. I don't have a neighbor, Don.
Have you unfriended people? Because you friend everybody. I'll tell this to our listeners. There's been some listeners that friend me. I don't let people in on Facebook.
You
That's
don't.
Family and friends. Twitter, you want to interact with me there? That's great. You can interact with me. Facebook's my little family and friends thing.
And that's true.
But you
I friend everybody. I don't care.
You let everybody in. I think that's what fills your thing up because they're obviously sports fans.
And here's what I've started to do. I've started to unfollow. I didn't
so
realize.
You don't unfriend, you unfollow.
I unfollow. I didn't realize because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Oh, I unfriend people.
And I'm sure people have unfollowed me. Yeah. But yeah, I unfollow them. And here's the deal on April 13th of 2017. If you're still ripping out political posts at this point, you're unfollowed. Done. I'm done with that. Move on. This is what we got, and this is what we're moving on with,
Oh,
whether we like it or not.
Great arguments that fix the world on Facebook.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, we're moving on. And now I think I'm going to get to the point where if you're throwing out a Cardinal score every night or a Cubs score every night, every night, then I'm going to unfollow you.
What else is on that list? What else is on the unfollow list for Vaughn?
There was one.
I really find this intriguing because you are really fed up with Facebook right now.
There was one. I will not even say the gender. That every morning would post a question, a food-related question. And I would see that, and I'm like, why? Like, this is so dumb.
It's amazing how we all have different uses for the Facebook.
Right. Mine usually is
back when it started, it was the Facebook.
Was it really?
I didn't know that. TheFacebook.com.
I'm trying to think, what are my uses for Facebook? Normally, if I'm on vacation, I'll throw a picture out that I'm on vacation. Or the kids.
Yes.
Like I ran a 5K. So that's a big event for me. It's not I ate hot dogs tonight. Hey, I ate hot dogs tonight, and the Cardinals are up 2-0 in the fourth. I don't do that, but if I run a 5K...
You know, like, there are certain people that abuse Facebook. Yes. And I'm going to look across the office next door to us.
Oh, yes,
Ken Cunningham.
Does. Yes,
but
he
does.
is
the most interesting follow because he's got 4 adopted kids, and it's the craziest life, and I love following him. But if anybody else Facebooks like that, I'm unfollowing you.
I totally agree with you.
I want Facebook to be funny.
Yes.
Or pictures.
Yes.
Like that's all I want anymore. Yep. I want a funny post or something. Don't complain about your life. Like, oh, I'm so stressed about unfollowed. Or like hashtag, like they have the feeling things now.
Oh yeah.
Feeling emotional or feeling depressed. Stop it. This cry for attention just so you can get people to say, "Oh, honey, it's fine." Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, the like is the thumb, right?
Yes.
I love this, that we're just going off on Facebook, right? And then you have
it's a great tool, but the people who abuse it by like just reaching out, oh, I had the worst day. Nobody cares. Everyone had a bad day. Get it together.
Yes. Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
That's
totally agree. The other thing, and you mentioned this with these other, like the heart or the sappy
angry face.
You know, since we're on this, here's the most awkward thing for me, and I'm being serious real quick. When somebody loses a family member, and then I hit like, I'm always confused by that.
There's a button that allows you to scroll down and get like a sad face.
I'm not going to sad face emoji somebody, all right? I'm not that guy. So, but I always feel
heart
bad.
Emoji something?
Right. Well, and then I've got a funny story about that. I always feel bad that it's like, okay,
Am I saying
liking.
I like this?
I think what you're trying to do is show support to say, hey, I read your comment. Right. I'm sorry that you lost your dad, and I'm being dead serious.
Instead of just typing it all out, you just want to give a quick like.
Because sometimes it might be a fringe friend.
Right.
I mean, if it's a good friend, obviously I've probably called him or texted him.
I think people understand that.
So I will like it.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think the person's going to be, well, I can't believe you liked that my uncle died.
Exactly. Right. But I do honestly feel weird when I like something like that.
I think it's just showing that, hey, I read this. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is good. We're getting to the bottom of Facebook right now. Now, the other thing that I did the other day with these heart emojis, which I've never done in my life, I don't even know how to do it. It's a buddy of mine in Tampa sent out this thing about, hey, what was it? My buddy and I finished first in whatever. Yeah. And so that's an obvious like, right? Oh, that's awesome. You did that. I accidentally hearted. So I typed.
Yeah. What can guys heart something on Facebook? Like what can we actually, like if the Cubs winning the World Series, you can heart that.
I would heart a picture of Torrin.
Okay.
I think. I don't think I've ever heart. That heart was an accidental heart.
Like a baby.
Right.
Is like age 2, can you stop? Or is like age 4? Like what age do you have to stop that?
Puppies. Yeah. Okay.
Harry says
Harry's
puppies.
saying puppies.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You can heart puppies.
But I just don't heart anything. And I ended up having to actually write a comment then saying, I didn't mean to heart that. I meant to like it because I don't know how to remove the heart now.
And here's another thing.
Dan Hartlib is texting me, I think.
Twitter.
Jack Long, I'm not going to become your friend on Facebook. So you can, this is our intern in the other room just friended me. Forget it, buddy. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to friend him right now and unfollow him immediately.
How about you delete the request right in front of him?
I'm going to do it right now.
With him
I'm going
here.
to delete Jack Long sent you. Oh, so did Dan King. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Delete both the interns on Facebook.
Boom, boom, deleted.
Heartless. See, I would actually friend them on Facebook.
Done.
The interns.
No, okay, you can send it again.
I like to see where they go. Like Danielle, I see on Facebook. Muhammad, I see on Facebook. Dan Whelan, I see on Facebook.
Don't even bring him up.
Twitter, we can't edit. But I kind of understand it.
Right.
Because they don't want you to be able to edit tweets like 3 years ago so that you can change it. Like, say a politician tweeted something 4 years ago.
Oh, so you can't edit a tweet? I didn't realize that.
You can delete it.
Okay.
But you can't edit it. But it's kind of frustrating when you have a typo.
Right.
I got to delete this entire thing and retype it.
It's like, dang it. All right, listen, that was a good conversation on social media.
But people,
that helped me.
If you had a bad day, unless somebody died, don't put, I had such a terrible day. You guys would never believe it. Or feeling stressed out.
Wait, I think, Harry, that's what he said. It's complicated. I think he said that it's complicated. Is that what you can read?
The relationship status you're talking about?
Oh, yes.
They had that right away, too, on Facebook. A lot of friends did it as a joke.
In a relationship. Congratulations.
That was the biggest thing in college.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
See,
Facebook fish, man.
I don't even know how to put what relationship I'm in. Is that under like where it's about?
Info about, stuff like that.
Okay.
But honestly, that is the thing that makes me, like, I have several relatives I married into, and I don't even care if they ever hear this.
I love
that. Just throw it out there just for people to go, it's okay, honey. We love you. Stop it.
We sound bitter, don't we? We sound like men, like old men.
Those people.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we've lost a lot of listeners.
That's life.
Yeah, exactly.
Live with it.
Life happens.
Change it. Change something.
Can I say this too? This is my last thing. And this goes to Twitter.
This might be our greatest segment.
I think so ever. All right, so this goes to Twitter. All right, Cubs fans, and I'm saying this to Cubs and Blackhawks fans. Now, and you could easily say it to me as a Blues or a Cardinal fan. When the Blues win, like last night, the last thing I'm going to do is seek out a Blackhawk fan and say, hey, we're coming for you. Hey, did you see that win? Hey, Jake Allen's the best goalie in hockey.
Probably into Blues.
I don't do that. And I have friends that are Hawks fans that will send me stuff and rip on the Blues. And I'm like, you're not even playing it. This is our night. Your night's tomorrow. I'm going to stay away from Twitter, let you guys win tonight. I'm not going to get on there and bash the Hawks because they're down 1-0 to the Preds. So just leave my team alone. Now, if we're playing each other, like you said, whole different story.
Yeah.
Whole different story. So, all right, Dan Hartlib thankfully had to miss that entire social media issue, but he is on hold. Here's what we're going to do, Coach, just so he's hearing us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Dan Hartlib, Illini baseball coach. I feel good now.
Talk about his Reds.
Yeah, no. Okay, we'll talk about his Reds. All right, we'll do it next. Tay and J Show.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Stop into Lowe's Spring Black Friday event where you'll find savings on those projects popping up on your to-do list. Get your garden started with 5 bags of Stay Green garden soil now for just $10. And do a little outdoor spring cleaning and save $70 on a Troy-Bilt 2800 PSI gas pressure washer now for just $249. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Soil offer valid 4/5 through 5/10. Pressure washer offer valid through 4/10. While supplies last, U.S. only. See store for details.
The Asian mole cricket eats mostly grass and dirt. Why? Because it has no taste buds. But you most likely are not an Asian mole cricket. As a human, you get to enjoy a different featured footlong every day of the week at Subway for only $6. On Monday, grab a footlong sweet onion chicken teriyaki made from chicken raised without antibiotics. Celebrate your taste buds. Celebrate not being a mole cricket. Come discover a new favorite every day with the $6 footlong sub of the day at Subway. Visit Subway.com for the full lineup. At participating restaurants, extras additional plus tax. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. No additional discounts or coupons apply.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Oh, it's the 2 for Tuesday with Views Supermassive. It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. I'm actually a little scared to bring on our next guest.
Yeah, we got a reaming coming to us.
Not only do I have it for being a Cardinal fan and the Reds dominated him, but we both have it because he's probably shocked we're even having him on today, to be honest with you. It's the Illini baseball coach, Dan Hartlib. Hi, Coach.
Yeah, I was wondering which subject we were going to be on today. The Reds, Ravante Rice when I got blown off, or Tillman when I got blown off. So you guys can pick which one.
Yeah, deserve that.
So we can cover all three. It doesn't matter.
I'd rather talk about the good young kids you have on this Illini baseball team. It's all about the kids, Coach.
You're exactly right.
Do the Reds have staying power? We'll talk about that. Do they have staying power right now? They're 7-2.
Hey, if the World Series were played after 1 week, we'd be in it.
They do have some good young pitchers, though. That's going to be fun to watch those guys develop.
Yeah, they've got a ways to go. I mean, obviously they've gotten off to a good start, but I don't see them being at the top of the division very long.
Right.
They're in a rebuilding process, but you never know. Young kids learn to win. Maybe they can stay solid for a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Coach, that's perfect for you.
No doubt.
You start the season off 6-16. I know that's not how you want to start, even if you have a young team, but you've won 6 of the last 8. What are you seeing out of your team the last couple of weeks?
Well, I knew going into the season that we would have some struggles just because of the lack of experience. I mean, we do have youth, but we also have some older guys that have done a good job, but just not many people that have contributed or been on the field very much. The thing that has been awesome about this team is it's fun to go to practice every single day. They have listened. They have worked extremely hard. They've had a great attitude. It's not easy to have a great attitude when things don't go well, when you get beat, on a regular basis. But this team has great leadership. We've got a bunch of hungry young guys willing to learn. They're starting to relax, and we've made great strides over the past 2 weeks.
That was a tough one, Coach, at Michigan, obviously, the one you were up, then lost the first game, but you came back and won a game that weekend against Michigan. Can that win, can you use that to propel, against a top 20 team in the country?
Well, I think so. We beat Missouri the Tuesday before, and they had been ranked. We stacked up against Michigan very, very well. But the Friday game was tough. If I had it to do all over again, I'd have done a few things differently. It's easy to look back and say, if we had done this, and this, we'd have won.
Sure.
But there are some things I'd have done a little bit differently. But our guys overcame the adversity of losing a tough one, turning around on Saturday, and they outplayed us that day. And then our backs against the wall, and they were outstanding. Our guys, they don't quit, they don't complain, they don't fight with each other. They just go out and try to find ways to win. We have won 6 out of 8 games, and I don't even think we've played that well.
Mm-hmm.
We've gotten better, we've improved, but I think we have enough talent to go out as we learn more and mature more. I think we can go out and be much better offensively. We can be sharper on the mound. Defensively, we've done a lot of good things all year, but we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg right now.
Dan Hartlib, Illini baseball coach, joining us on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. Don't forget their pizza of the month is Caprice Pizza. I know your pitching has been up and down this season, Coach, but making a change to that rotation, going with a couple young kids, right?
Yeah, as you look at our consistency or lack of consistency, we really felt like the two guys that had given us the best outings and made the most progress are Ty Weber, which is going to start tomorrow night, a true freshman, Cirillo Watson on Saturday, which is a true freshman. We'll do everything we can to win those 2 games and then figure out, who we feel like gives us the best opportunity to win on the Sunday game. You look at the best pitch games that we've had throughout this little streak that we have, and the guys that have made the most progress have all been freshmen. I really feel like some of the older guys that we have, which aren't a lot, they're better served to be maybe in the bullpen or in a little bit different roles. It doesn't mean they're not good, but everybody has certain roles that they'll excel at, and if you get them out of those roles sometimes, they don't perform as well, and that's something that's my job, is try to figure out who fills which roles and which guys can be successful doing certain things. Everybody can't be a starter. Everybody can't be a reliever.
How about your lineup, Coach? How's it looking, and are you starting to be able to see where guys are settling in and getting comfortable?
Yes and no. We've had a couple injuries that have changed some things, and I would really like to be healthy so that we have a little bit more consistency with what we're doing in the order. Also, give us a little bit more of a opportunity to have some pop off the bench. So, there's a lot of things that I think guys are doing well, but there's some different things I'd like to be able to do and try and do some matchup type things. But right now with our injuries, we're not able to do that. The top of the lineup has been very good. We just need to be more consistent 1 through 9. If you think back on the years that we've been really good offensively, the thing that we've talked about is the fact that 1 through 9 we have consistent threats. And right now we don't have that 1 through 9. We have some guys that will give us quality at bat, and then the next time, they don't give us quality at bat. So still room for improvement. But guys, again, have worked very hard, and we've made progress. We're better today than we were a week ago, and we're much better today than we were a month ago. So that's all we can ask for at this point.
Exactly.
Well, Coach, you got Northwestern this weekend at home. You should have some good weather, at least on Saturday, I know. But what do you think of Northwestern in this matchup this weekend?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I know what their record is. I look at their ERA, I look at their batting average, but quite honestly, I really don't look at teams other than to see if they run a little bit or maybe some matchup type things. All I know is if we do the things we're capable of doing, we have enough talent to beat anybody. And so every single year, that's the way I approach things. I really don't worry about the opponent. We don't have to look at tendencies. We get a scouting report and know what a pitcher goes to, with some tendencies as far as out pitches and things. But I just want our guys to concentrate on their strengths. If we concentrate on our strengths and go out and do those things, we'll win a lot more games than we lose.
It is amazing, and you hear coaches say that all the time. Let's focus on us. Let's worry about us, see what happens. Well, we know this, Coach. It's going to be great weather, so a lot of people will love to get out to baseball or Illinois Field. It's going to be a fun, great weather weekend for you guys to play baseball.
Well, it's awesome when we have great weather. When we have those home crowds, it brings energy to our team. It's fun playing in front of people and crowds, and we've had great support over the years, and hopefully this weekend we can just pack it. People come out and enjoy the weather and enjoy some wins.
We appreciate you taking it lightly on us a little bit regarding the Reds and everybody else, so thank you, Coach.
It may be over today, but it's not over.
Hey, good luck this weekend, buddy.
Guys, great luck. You have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Dan.
You too. Happy Easter. Dan Hartlib, Illini baseball coach. We were ready for
take
it.
It easy on this.
We were ready for it. We deserve it.
It'll come when we're least expecting it, though. Thanks to our guest today, Dan Hartlib. Just heard from him, Thad Ward, Illini running backs coach,
awesome.
and Scott Powers, the athletic. If you missed any of the show, get our podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. Coming up next, the 200 level. Yeah. Mike Carpenter and Steve Breitweiser talk about all things basketball. You'll hear that. Only 2 episodes left this season in the 200 level. Also, thanks to our interns today, Daniel King, Jack Long, and Harry Black.
All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow for Good Friday. It is the Tay and J Show.
Field & Stream invites you to join us this Saturday, April 15th, for our biggest firearm and ammunition sale of the season. At this year's Lock and Load shooting event, you'll find savings of up to $200 on top firearm brands. Be one of the first 100 adults in line and receive a free Field & Stream mystery gift card valued from $10 to $100. Live prize drawings will take place every hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See store for official rules. Start a new tradition Saturday, April 15th. Field and Stream, where traditions begin.
Help us celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ by sharing kindness and love this holiday season. Resurrection Sunday is April 16th. Please help us support our local churches, the Time Center, Restoration Urban Ministries, Crisis Pregnancy Center, Salt and Light, and all of our local charitable organizations. Jesus stated in Matthew 9:37, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few." Help to increase the number of workers. Do something of eternal value today. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department. So what does your day look like?
It's different every day. You go into the sheriff's office and grab some civil papers to serve some people, and then you respond to calls. You do traffic stops. When it's nice out, you get out and talk to people in the community that are out on the streets walking, play basketball with kids like a lot of our guys do.
Yeah, you probably sandbag the kids because your former Champaign Central lead you to sectional player. Brian Malik, could you shoot the three?
I could. I was very good.
Yeah.
At least in my own mind.
Can you shoot with a vest on?
A little more difficult. You had about 25 or 30 pounds. It makes it a little more difficult to get the ball up there.
You always have to be keyed up. Do you have to go into a situation knowing anything can happen here and I got to be really on it?
Yeah. Most people, when they call for the sheriff's office, most of the time they're having a very bad day. And you show up and you try to do your best to make their day a little better. It doesn't always work, but you're doing your best to make it happen.
And brought to you by Effie Moran Security Solutions.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com. Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh